This is ChestertonRadio.com.
And here's the cinnamon bear.
And now let's take a look at Judy and Jimmy and their friends, the Cinnamon Bear and the Crazy Quilt Dragon. Things seem to be happening left and right. Wesley, the Wailing Whale, swallowed their silver star and finally got it off his chest when Crazy Quilt tickled him and made him cough it up. Samuel the Seal caught it and started to juggle it. Higher and higher he tossed the star, and then, alack, Penelope the Pelican snatched it in midair and off she flew. As Cinnamon Bear would say, this is a pretty kettle of halibuts.
Oh, dear. Every time I think about our star, I want to cry. Seems like we just never will get it back. Don't you suppose we ought to just head out into the root beer ocean and keep looking, Cinnamon Bear?
I don't think that would be so wise, Judy.
No, I should say not. Not until I've eaten my 4 barrels of corks. It would be a sad thing for us to get started and then have me get all soaked up with root beer. Oh.
What's funny, Crazy Quilt?
I was just thinking, maybe we could find us a root beer float.
Oh, this is no time for bum jokes, Crazy.
Oh, I thought it rather good myself.
It's not. Now, Judy, I don't think it would do any good to head out into the root beer ocean. We haven't the extra slightest notion of which way the Pelican was flying.
Well, right now I don't care much about anything. I'm so hungry.
Food. Now that you mention it, Jimmy, I could trifle with a few dozen lollipops myself.
And sure, and I haven't had any cinnamon buns for some time. If I want to keep extra special ferocious, I just must have my cinnamon buns.
Suppose we all hop on Crazy Quilt's back and get back to land again.
Capital. I'm all dried out now, and it isn't very far. Climb aboard, my friend.
Yeah, how about those inkaboos? Can't we go further up the coast a bit and avoid them? Soak my stuffing if I ever want to meet up with them again.
None of us would, Cinnamon Bear.
I'll head sort of north by east northerly, and that'll bring us to a shore quite a bit out of their territory.
You've no idea how good that sounds to me ears, Crazy Quilt. Come on, let's go.
Sure thing. I'll get you ashore before you can say Jack Robinson.
Jack Robinson.
Oh, that's not fair, Judy. I wasn't ready.
You can't swim that fast, Crazy Quilt, and you know it.
Maybe so, maybe no. But just hang on tight and see how you like this.
He's using his tail for a propeller. Come along,
A quickie, Crazy Quilt.
I'll say it was.
Oh, I was just poking along.
Oh, you don't say so. Well, if you'd have gone any faster, it would have blown all my fur off.
My goodness, Crazy Quilt. This looks awful steep along here.
Wait a minute. Who's that over there by that big rock?
Why, it's a man. And isn't he funny looking? He hasn't got any sleeves in his coat.
And would you look at that hat? It's so big it completely covers his face.
And look, Judy. Look at all those white rabbits following him. Willikers. Why, there must be about 20 of them.
Oh, it must be. It is.
Is who?
Fade my colors if it isn't that measly magician, Mr. Presto.
You mean he's a bad man, Crazy Quilt?
Oh, no, not that, but he's a bad magician. He takes magic lessons by correspondence.
He means by mail, Judy.
Right, and he insists on trying his half-baked magic on everything and anybody. Last time I met up with him, he practiced a bit on me. I shall never forget it.
Well, what did he do, Crazy Quilt?
Pride will not permit me to tell you, Jimmy. My Crazy Quilt ancestors would turn over in their graves.
Greetings, my old friend Crazy Quilt. Greetings and salutations. So glad to see you again. And how's your Uncle Gregory?
He seems very pleasant, Crazy Quilt.
I refuse to make further comment, for a minute anyway.
If he's a magician, maybe he can help us get our silver star back.
Well, this is a treat if I do say so. And who are your friends, Crazy Quilt?
Oh, hello, Presto. May I make you acquainted with Judy and Jimmy and Patio Cinema?
How do you do? Any friend of Crazy Quilt's is a friend of mine, as I always say. So glad to see you, and how are you?
How's about a few carrots, huh? Us rabbits is going to get tough if you don't crack through with some grub, and we don't mean maybe.
Pardon me, Mr. Presto, but did that white rabbit say that, or are you a ventriloquist?
No, that was the rabbit, unfortunately. I produced him and about 20 others while I was doing my homework on magic lesson number 4. I take magic lessons by mail, very good, too, but after I produced all these rabbits out of my hat, I couldn't get rid of them. Keep following me around all the time and yelling for carrots. Very annoying, very annoying.
But if you're a magician, why don't you make them disappear? Then they wouldn't bother you.
Alas, I'm unable to do that. Lesson number 5 on how to make white rabbits disappear with nothing up your sleeve was lost in the mail.
Oh, that's too bad. By the way, Mr. Presto, if you don't mind my saying so, I think you ought to get a hat that fits you. It keeps slipping down all over your face all the time. It's twice too big for you.
Good business, fellow, just good business. I'm twice as good as any magician living. Got to have a hat twice as big.
Maybe so, Presto. But inasmuch as it's resting on your Adam's apple most of the time, it seems to me you're talking through your hat.
Scorn me if you will, Crazy Quilt, but so help me Houdini if you don't mind your tongue. One of these days when I get to lesson 23, I'll turn you into a lounge lizard and
Says
then
you moldy old magician. Why, I'll pull your hat so far down over your face you'll be able to wear it for a skirt.
Here, control yourself, boys. Control yourself. Calm down.
That's what I say. Besides, I want to ask Mr. Presto here some special questions.
Only too happy to accommodate you, young man. Only too happy to accommodate you.
What I want to know is, why don't you have any sleeves in your coat?
Simple, my child, simple. If I don't have any sleeves, folks will know I have nothing up them.
And are you a good magician, Mr. Presto?
Good, I'm slightly terrific. I'll demonstrate.
Well, there's only one kind of magic we'd be interested in right now. We're awful hungry. Can you get us something to eat?
Food, simplest thing in the world. Learn that in lesson 15. That is the fundamental. So happens that the great Presto is a snozzaroo when it comes to producing eatables. Your orders, please, just name it.
Cinnamon buns for me with currants and plain icing.
Not that I think you can produce anything, Presto, but I could toy with about 3 Loganberry lollipops.
Well, I want something that's regular food. You can make mine a ham and egg sandwich, and you don't have to toast it either.
I think I'd like that too, Mr. Presto.
All simple stuff. I'll start with the ham and egg sandwiches first. I place my hat on the ground, cover it with my kerchief, a few choice words, hocus pocus, ipso facto, abracadabra, and razzmatazz. Remove the handkerchief from the hat and...
You've got the makings all right, but I don't think I could eat a real live pig and a chicken.
Up to your old stuff, eh, Presto?
Am I mortified? So sorry. Million apologies. How about a few card tricks?
I'm afraid you're a frost, Presto. Now, how about finding lost things? Are you any good at that?
Right down my alley. Lesson 17. What have you lost?
It's our silver star, Mr. Presto. It belongs on top of our Christmas tree, and we just got to get it back.
Silver star? Excuse me while I go into a quick trance. Oh, I'm getting it. Oh, it's traveling over water. Oh, a bird has it. A pelican has it.
That's more like it.
You're all right, Presto. You're all right.
If you're so good at knowing where things are, perhaps your magic can bring back Penelope the pelican, back with the silver star.
Simplicity itself. In a moment, you'll see her step out of my silk hat. Watch a wave of the wand this time. And behold the pelican.
That's no pelican. It's a halibut.
Such goings on. Nothing sacred anymore, not even us halibut. Pooey do, sir, and goodbye.
Oh, please. Just a slight error someplace. Let me try again. Behold.
Don't look now, Presto, but I think you've got something there.
Why, it's a penguin.
Yes, a penguin I am, and if I may say so, raspberries to all of you. Goodbye.
Please, I beg of you, just one more chance.
All right, but this is the last time.
Behold!
You did it! It's Penelope!
Hooray!
That this should happen to me. Penelope the Pelican, descended from a long line of respectable pelicans. You'll answer for this. I'll write a letter, that's what I'll do. You'll hear from me, sir. How dare you interrupt a blue-blooded pelican when she's flying along and minding her own business? Why, your cheap vaudeville magic jerked me so violently, I thought I'd lose my back feathers, and then to be pulled out of a silk hat. Let's see the label. Oh, cheap stuff, and second-hand at that.
Where's our silver star you took away from the seal when he was juggling it?
Oh, that thing. A pretty bauble, too. Well, I was flying over the island of Obi when this 10th-rate magician jerked the daylights out of me, and I dropped it.
Oh, dear.
Did you see where it landed on the island?
How could I? It all happened like a flash. And now, if you ruffians are quite finished, good day. And wait till my congressman hears about this, the very idea.
Oh, whatever will we do now? We're farther away from the Silver Star than ever.
Oh, don't cry, Judy. Be a regular twin, not a sniffly girl.
All right, Jimmy.
Well, Presto, what have you to say for yourself now?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I am abject. I am prostrate. I feel like a snake in the grass.
What?
Goodness, he is a snake in the grass.
Well, sure enough. He turned right into one. And watch him wriggle away.
And let's hope he stays that way for some time. He's nothing but a nuisance.
So that's that. Well, let's not waste our time crying about what's happened. Let's start off and look for something to eat and a boat to get us over to the island of Obi.
You're right, Cinnamon Bear. Let's see what's around the other side of this rock. Come on, Jimmy. Come on, Crazy Quill.
Okay, Judy.
All right.
Oh,
but
run
be
around.
careful.
All right.
Mind
Watch out
careful.
in your rocks. They're really slippery.
Oh, what's this? Look, right up against the rock.
Why, it's a chest. And it looks like a pirate chest that you read about.
Why, so it does. And see what's written on it. Private property of Captain Taffy. Hands off.
Let's open it. Maybe there's gold in it.
Now, I'll take this side, and Jimmy, you take that other side over there. And we can...
Gee, Willikers, listen.
Wow! We're surrounded.
Pirates, we're done for.
Oh, Jimmy!
Pirates. That's bad. Yes, indeed. From all I've read and heard about pirates, they're not especially good people to meet up with. Not at all. And next time we'll find out just what's in store for poor Judy and Jimmy and Cinnamon Bear and Crazy Quill.
This is Chesterton Radio, your home for podcasts of works by G.K. Chesterton, plus drama, comedy, mystery, science fiction, big bands, and much more. The soundtrack to your Chesterton day at chestertonradio.com.
Laugh a while, let a song be your style. Use Fitch shampoo. Don't despair, use your head, save your hair. Use Fitch shampoo.
Is your shampoo doing right by you? Yes, is your shampoo doing right by you?
Well, my shampoo lathers all right, but it doesn't remove my dandruff.
I've tried one shampoo after another. They all suds up and rinse out, but I still have dandruff.
If your shampoo is letting you down, when it comes to removing dandruff, switch to Fitch. Fitch's Dandruff Remover Shampoo. It's guaranteed to remove all dandruff. Medical authorities say there are two kinds of dandruff. One is loose and flaky. It's the unsightly kind. The other clings to the scalp. It's the invisible, irritating kind. If your present shampoo is doing only half the job, removing only part of your dandruff, remember, Fitch removes both kinds completely. So, be free of unsightly dandruff. Be free of invisible, irritating dandruff. Yes, be free of all embarrassing dandruff.
Fitch is the only shampoo who's guaranteed to remove dandruff with first application, is backed by one of the world's largest insurance firms.
So, switch to Fitch. At drug counters, barber, and beauty shops, ask for Fitch's Dandruff Remover Shampoo. Fitch Shampoo does right by you. The F.W. Fitch Company, makers of Fitch Shampoo, presents The Fitch Bandwagon, written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliot Lewis, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Robert North, Walter Scharf in his music, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. weeks now, the Harris children, like children all over the world, have been thinking of nothing but Christmas and Santa Claus. They've been on their best behavior. And as we look in, we find Alice complimenting the children on their good deportment.
Now, you've been particularly good, Alice. You've gone to sleep early, you've put all your toys away, you've finished all your food at mealtime, and you drink all your milk.
Gee, I've been a regular little angel, haven't I, Mommy?
Oh, no. No, let's not go that far. As for you, honey, you've been just as good as Alice. You, too, have been going to bed early, putting your toys away, and eating all your food. The only thing is you haven't been drinking all your milk.
Well, I tried to, but you know how that stuff gags me.
Quiet, Bill. I'm talking to little Phyllis. Where is she? She was here a minute ago.
She went in the den, Mommy. I'll get her. Phyllis, Mommy wants you to come. Phyllis, what are you doing with those crayons? Oh, I was just going to draw a picture on the wall. Don't do that. You know we gotta be good till Christmas. But I've been good for 3 weeks now. Gee, how long can they expect a kid to be so good? Alice, it's an awful strain. I know, but it's only 4 more days. Don't crack up now. You've been so good for so long. I know, but as Daddy always says, it ain't been easy, Buster. Alice, have you asked Mommy and Daddy about Santa Claus yet? No, but I will.
Children, what's going on in here?
Yeah, what are you two doing?
Oh, nothing. Just sitting here being good. Mommy, Daddy, we want to ask a favor. We'd like to stay up and see Santa Claus when he brings the presents on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, well, but, honey, he has a lot of other stops to make, and, well, he might get here very late.
Can't we, Daddy, please?
Well, okay. Now, you kids continue to behave yourselves, and I promise that you'll see Santa on Christmas Eve. Now, run along and play.
Thanks, Daddy. Gee, I can hardly wait for Christmas Eve.
Phil, why did you promise the children that? Now, if they don't see Santa, they'll be very disappointed.
But they're going to see him. And just to make sure, I'll dress up like Santa and come down the chimney. They won't be able to tell me from the real one.
Daddy.
Yes, dear?
Don't you dress up and make believe you're Santa like last year. Boy, was that corny.
Alice, I still can't figure out how they knew it was me last year. What did I do that was wrong?
Well, for one thing, you were supposed to come in singing Jingle Bells.
I did.
But those lyrics, I can still hear them. Ham, hocks, and turnip greens, they melt right in your mouth. A candy jam and a hominy grits, and that's what I like about the South. Yeah!
And what's wrong with those lyrics?
That isn't the way we sing it up north.
Can I help it if you Yankees don't know the right words? You don't think I can play St. Nick? We'll get somebody else to do it.
I wonder why the girls are so anxious to see Santa Claus. Phil, do you suppose...
Gee, I hope not. Hey, Alice, look, we just got to produce a Santa Claus on Christmas Eve.
Well, don't worry about it, Phil.
Well, I got to worry about it. Somebody's got to worry about it. It's important. I got to think of something. Now, let me concentrate. If I think hard enough, something will come out.
Good morning, Philip.
For this, I had to concentrate, Jack.
Hello, William.
Hello, dear. Philip, are you in pain? You have such a strained expression on your face.
I'm thinking. Now, if you want to talk to me, come back later. I got a thought running through my mind.
I'll wait. Through your mind, it's only a short dash, and it won't take long.
Get a load of this red skeleton of Encino. Look, don't bother me, Willie. I'm trying to think so that we've got to get somebody to play Santa Claus for the kids on Christmas Eve, and we want to get someone who looks and sounds like the real thing.
Well, if that's your problem, you needn't look any further. I shall be glad to portray Christopher Kringle.
Christopher? Well, Donner, my Blitzen. Christopher, fine Santa Claus you'd make.
I'd make an excellent one. I'm quite an actor, you know. I can see myself popping out of the chimney, bounding into the living room and saying, ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas to you little kiddies. And what do you wee darlings desire as a Yuletide memento?
Thank you, Catherine Cornell. Look, get lost, Index. Go make a double entry, son.
Well, I guess I'm not wanted around here, so...
Oh, wait now, wait. Don't take it to heart, Willie. You're not a bad guy. You're always trying to do the right thing.
Oh, do you really think so, Philip?
Yeah. It ain't your fault that you're a schnook and don't know how.
Very well, Mr. Harris. I'll leave and let you do things your own blundering way. Goodbye, Alice, dear. And to think she could have married Rudy Valley.
There goes a cute little character. He has all the charm of live bait. Hey, look, Alice, seriously, what are we going to do? Now, we're going to have to get someone for the kids who look like Santa, and Hey, wait a minute. I got just the guy, Don Wilson.
Oh, Phil, Don would be perfect. He's jovial, he has a cheery face, and he's rotund.
Yeah, and he's fat, too. Hey, honey, why don't you call Don and see if he can come over Christmas Eve?
All right. I'll call him right now.
Yeah. Gee whiz, the children never have seen Don, and they can't possibly recognize him. I can hardly wait to see how the kids react on Christmas Eve. You know, there's something wonderful about watching a kid on Christmas, waiting for Santa and listening for those jingle bells. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, they're making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Hey! Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Alice Faye was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his luck. He got into a drifted bank, and we got upset. Jingle bells, snow with a hey, ha, 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 ho, ha, ho, with jingle bells, gaily singing, merrily we go. Jingle bells, white of snow so cold and crisp and light, with jingle all the way through the night. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in an open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Gee whiz, I sure hope Don can make it. You know, he's going to be terrific as Santa Claus because of... Uh-oh, that must be Frankie.
Hi, Curly.
Hi, Frankie. Come on in.
Yeah.
Hey. What do you got in all those packages?
Christmas presents. I got some things for the kids, Alice. And here's something for you, Curly.
For me? Ah, you got a present for little curly-headed me.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, gee, Frankie. That's sweet of you. I don't know what to say.
That's all right, Curly.
But the thought. Gee, you don't know how I appreciated it. Well, it touches me deeply.
If you're going to get sloppy about it, I'll take it back.
Well, I appreciate it, Frankie, but, well, I didn't want you to go out and spend a lot of money on me.
I didn't. I spent most of my money on the kids. After all, Christmas is for them. Where's Alice?
Oh, she's inside calling Don Wilson. You see, the kids want to see Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, so we're asking Don to play it.
Why are you getting Don Wilson to play Santa?
Well, what else am I going to do?
We'll let him stay up and see the real Santa Claus.
Yeah, but I don't know what time he's coming. Did you say something?
Yeah. Why don't you let the kids see the real Santa Claus?
Move over, Frankie. You'll get some of that stuff on me. Get over.
You're another one of those cynics, huh? Wise guy who don't believe.
You do?
Of course. You know, just because you never seen him don't mean he's not there. You must realize, Curly, there are some things in life that are inexplicable. Psychic phenomena that are ethereal and beyond the comprehension of we mere mortals.
What was that?
What's the matter? Did I say something vulgar? No, Curly, you can take my word for it. The real guy will show up.
Okay, Remley, stop.
All I gotta say is it's a good thing kids have more common sense and faith than most grown-ups. Christmas wouldn't be much fun. I know that on Christmas Eve, old St. Nick and his reindeer will come flying through the sky.
Yeah. But do you mind if we have somebody stand by just in case Santa's forced down with a low fog over Burbank?
All right. Scoff if you will. I'll drop over Christmas Eve, then maybe you'll sing a different tune. Goodbye, infidel.
That Remley, I don't know what to think about.
Phil, I called Don, but he can't make it. However, he said he has a lot of active friends, and he'll send one of them over. But he said we'd have to pay the actor $10.
So what? $10. It'll be worth it to make the kids happy. Hey, honey, did Don say he could get someone positively?
Yes, Phil. He said he was sure he'd get someone.
Gee, I sure hope so, because this is very important. Hey, if anything would go wrong, I don't know what I'd do.
Phil, please stop worrying. There's still 3 days till Christmas Eve, and if you keep this up, you'll drive yourself batty.
And for 3 days, Phil worried. Now, as we look in on the Harris home, it's Christmas Eve. Phil is downstairs trimming the tree and impatiently awaiting the arrival of Santa. Alice is upstairs, reassuring the children that he'll be there.
But, Mommy, it's 10 o'clock already and Santa isn't here yet. Gee, Mommy, do you think maybe he isn't coming?
Oh, don't fret, girls. Of course he's coming. So, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sakes. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He'll be riding with his reindeer in a great big open sleigh with a great big bag of presents and he'll give them all away.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. Better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
There. Well, that's the last ornament. Hey, looks pretty good. Now if Santa only shows up, what a
Phil, I was just upstairs with the children. Oh, Phil, the tree looks beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, honey, how are the kids? Are they impatient?
Oh, they'll be all right.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Frankie.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Hey, Frankie, what do you got there?
Milk and crackers for Santa Claus. I put them on the mantle for him every year. Hey, where's the kids?
Oh, they're upstairs waiting for Santa.
Yeah, and I'm waiting, too. When is the guy going to show up? It's after 10 already.
Be patient, Curly. He's got a long trip from the North Pole. Besides, his reindeer ain't as young as they used to be.
Keep quiet. I'm paying the guy $10. You'd think he'd get here on time.
This subterfuge is all so unnecessary.
Hey, there's a door. That must be Santa now. I'll let him in.
I'll go with you, honey.
Okay. Well, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, and where's my $10?
Come on in, Jack.
Hey, Jackson, what are you doing here?
Well, Don Wilson happened to mention that you were paying $10 for a Santa Claus. I had an old pair of red flannels lying around.
Jackson, hey, since when do you have to go around playing Santa Claus for money?
Well, Phil, you don't begrudge me a guest shot once in a while, do you? Well, I only have one show, you know. I have to pick up a little late. Oh, hello, Frankie. Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas me, you imposter, you. Ah, fine looking Santa Claus.
I think I make a very good-looking Santa Claus in my red suit with a pillow under it for a stomach.
I think you look ridiculous. Look at your costume. It's bagging at the knees.
That's my stomach. It keeps slipping.
Hey, Jackson, I want you to know it's sure nice of you to do this for us, but, well, hey, look, Frankie's right. You don't look exactly like Santa Claus.
You sure don't. Look at that white beard. Where did you rent that moth-eaten thing?
It's not rented. I was playing gin rummy with Monty Woolley, and I won it. Like me as Santa Claus, and I'll just
pay
run
no
along.
attention to these two, Jack. I think you make a wonderful Santa Claus at paying you. Phil, give Jack the $10.
Okay, here you are, Jackson.
Thanks.
Phyllis will get a kick out of this. I'll go call her. And, Jack, try to convince her you're really Santa Claus, huh?
Little Phyllis? Phil, I thought I was doing this for your benefit. If it's for little Phyllis, I wouldn't think of taking money.
No. It's always a deal.
Oh, please don't embarrass. But for the kid, I wouldn't think of taking the $10.
Well, if you insist.
$7.50 is plenty. What kind of a heel do you think I am? Now, Phil, look.
Sweet of you, Jackson, to play Santa Claus for my two kids.
Oh, 2 kids. Well, look, Phil, I can't take any money at all for this. Tell you what, if you want to, you can buy me a little something for Christmas.
Like what?
Anything that Alice can afford. I don't care.
Okay, look, Jackson, the kids will be down in a minute to see Santa, and it's very important that you make them think that you're the real McCoy. Now, do you think you can act the part?
Oh, I shouldn't have any trouble, Phil. You know, I have great histrionic ability.
Yeah, but you're such a lousy actor.
What? This impersonation is preposterous. Santa Claus won't like this.
Come along, children. He's right in here. Well, there he is.
Gee, Santa Claus. Hello, Santa.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas and hello again. This is Santa Claus talking. Come here, children, and tell me how you like old Santa.
We like you fine, Santa. You're just like we pictured you. Yes, you're jolly and you have a nice fat tummy. But...
But what?
Well, isn't your tummy awful low?
Oh, that. That's the new look, kiddies. I'm wearing it 4 inches lower this year.
Well, kids, are you happy to see Santa? Gee, doesn't he look good?
He sure does, Daddy. He looks kind of old.
I am, little girl. After all, I'm Santa Claus. I've lived for hundreds and hundreds of years.
How old are you?
38. Well, old Santa has to be going now. Here are your toys, girls.
Thank you, Santa. Yeah, thanks.
Well, I'll be seeing you next year. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Up, Dancer, up, Prancer, up, Donner, and Blitzen. Ho, 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 and away we go.
A big ham.
Well, Well, children, what did you think of Santa Claus?
I liked him, but I was a little disappointed.
Why?
I expected him to take out his violin and play Love and Bloom.
You mean you kids knew it was Mr. Benny?
Sure, but we didn't want to say anything and hurt his feelings. Daddy, when is the real Santa coming?
Well, well, you see, honey, he'll be here soon, kids. Oh, Frankie. Listen, children, listen to me. Now, he has a lot to do, and he may be very late. So I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a Christmas story, and then maybe you'll run off to bed, huh?
Well, all right, Daddy. But we wanted so much to see him.
All right, honey. Maybe next year. He's busy. Now, look, you sit up on my lap, and I'll tell you the story. You ready? It was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were Hey, I thought I heard sleigh bells. No, I guess. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced through their heads. Alice, what are those bells? What's the...
Shh. Quiet, Curly.
Phyllis, look, in the fireplace. It's Santa Claus, the real one.
But,
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Frankie, who are you talking to? I don't see anybody.
The kids do. Look at him.
Gee, Santa, we knew you'd come. They couldn't fool us with any make-believe Santa Claus. We were waiting just for you. Oh, sure. We've been very good girls. Oh, what a lovely dollhouse. Thank you. And all these things are for me? Can I open them now? All right, Santa, we'll wait till morning. Thank you very much. And a Merry Christmas to you, too, Santa. Of course we'll tell them. Merry Christmas and goodbye, Santa Claus.
I told you he'd show up, Curly.
But, Frankie, I don't get it. I heard it, but I didn't see him.
Of course you didn't. He sure is a nice-looking old gent.
Alice, did you see him?
I'm not sure, Phil. I almost thought I saw him standing there.
But, Alice, how could it be? If he was standing there...
Phil, what are you staring at?
That spot on the rug there. Alice, it's snow.
Girls, you know about the new look in fashion. Well, there's a new look in hair beauty, too. Yes, women everywhere are achieving that look of softer, shinier hair with a marvelous new product, Fitch Cream Shampoo. This wonder-working shampoo is made with two beneficial beauty aids, lanolin and olive oil. Lanolin is used to soften the hair, to leave it smooth and caressable. Olive oil is used to bring out sparkling highlights, to accent the glowing radiance of your hair. Fitch Cream Shampoo is so easy to use. A small dab quickly whips into a fragrant, creamy lather that thoroughly cleanses hair and scalp. Then just rinse with plain water and every bubble of suds is gone. After shampooing, you'll find your hair stays in place. It stays soft, and it stays shining, as though it had been brushed and brushed and brushed. Fitch is economical, too. Compare the size of the jar. Compare its low cost. At drug or toilet goods counters, buy Fitch Cream Shampoo for that flattering new look of softer, shinier hair.
Children, kids, hey, come here a minute. Look, Santa said something to you, and you said, yes, we'll tell them. What did he say?
He told us to be sure and wish you and Mommy a Merry Christmas.
Now, wasn't that sweet of him? Now, girls, you're all tucked in. You've seen Santa, and you have everything you want. So go right to sleep. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, babies.
Daddy,
Yes, dear?
can I have a drink of water?
Go to sleep! This is Phil Harris. The F.W. Fitch Company, Alice and I, and our entire cast want to thank all of you so much for listening to our show and wish you the best Christmas you've ever had. Good night.
Laugh a while, let a song be your style. Use Fitch shampoo.
Girls, for softer, shinier hair, use Fitch's new cream shampoo. It's made with both lanolin and olive oil. Lanolin to soften, olive oil for sparkling highlights. Try Fitch Cream Shampoo. Bill Foreman speaking.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
This is Chesterton Radio, the true, good, and beautiful at chestertonradio.com.
Don't turn that dial. This is the right station if you want to hear about Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. Jonathan Thomas, Man in the Moon, and Gorgonzola the Horse started out to search about for the correct and proper course, for the road was long, and they followed it wrong, till they came to a deep, wide river, and there they stood as best they could, but most all they could do was to shiver, till Jonathan Thomas remembered the word which the dwarfs had spoken, and they had heard, and very hard to say, for it goes this way, Hon, squee non, squee giggly they. And then, quick as a wink, before they could think, there came the noisiest sound, a rumbling, tumbling, bumbling bound that seemed to be all around. Then a flash of fire and a great big puff, which made them all sneeze, for it was smoky stuff. And then there appeared a fairy queen, the most beautiful queen that was ever seen. And she calmed their alarms by giving them charms to ward off the evil witch, who brewed her brew, as all witches do, in the land of Rumpelstitch. And she showed them the road which led over the hill to the nightmare forest, so dark and still. And she gave them an acorn to keep them awake. And then, in just 2 lambs of a shake, she was gone. And so Jonathan Thomas and the travelers 3, who were as brave could be, they traveled away, well, most of the day, till they reached a place which made them stare and gave them a fright, for it was nearly night. 'Twas the dreadful forest of Black Nightmare. And the question arose, as you might suppose, who was to have the acorn in his keep? But the wisest course was Gorgonzola the horse, for it was a charm against evil and harm, and would keep them from falling asleep. So he held it in his mouth, and they climbed on his back and gave him a whack, and again they headed due south. Now, if any of you boys should hear a strange noise, you tell the girls not to be afraid, for things would be bad and most horribly sad if, rather than going, they'd stayed. And, of course, you know, because they had to rescue Santa Claus. And all rescues are dangerous, But then, here's where the story begins again.
Oh, we're off to the land of Scribble. We'll run and we'll walk and we'll hobble.
And hey,
What was that?
I don't know, Jonathan Thomas, and I'm not going to stop to find out. Yeah. Giddy up, Gorgonzola.
Oh, we're off to the land of Scribble. We'll run and we'll walk and we'll hobble.
Oh, Mr. Man in the Moon, I'm getting scared as 2 times 2. What was that?
Jiminy crickets, I don't know.
Do you expect it was the dragon which the Fairy Queen told us about?
My goodness gracious, I'll bet that's what it is. Oh, more.
Oh, we'd better find the pepper tree that the Fairy Queen told us about, or the dragon will gobble us up, and I don't want to be gobbled up.
And I don't even want to be gobbled down. I wonder where that pepper tree is.
You'll find it straight ahead, about 20 feet.
Who's that?
Yes, for gracious sakes, who's that?
That's me.
But who are you? I don't see you anywhere.
Of course you do. I'm standing right here, in front of you.
Where?
Right here. If you'd only see, I'm a tree.
A tree?
Did you say a tree?
Of course I did. I'm a quaking aspen tree.
Oh, but I didn't know that trees could talk.
Some of them do, but of course the sappy ones don't. They just bark.
If you please, Mr. Tree, are you stuttering because you're cold?
Of course I am. I'm shaking and quaking till my limbs are almost breaking.
Oh, that must be awful.
You'd think so if you'd been standing here as long as I have.
Do you expect Mr. Man in the Moon we could give him the horse blanket to keep him warm?
My goodness gracious, of course. That is if the horse doesn't mind.
Do you mind, Mr. Gorgonzola?
No, it's okay with me. I'm always glad to help a tree.
You haven't got a hot water bottle, have you?
No, sir, Mr. Tree.
And we're sorry as can be.
But we can put the horse blanket around your feet. If you've got any feet.
Oh, just wrap it around my roots, and I'll be ever so much grateful.
Yes,
Hold on there, Jonathan Thomas. Don't get off the horse, or you'll fall asleep for 1,000,000 trillion years.
Oh, I almost forgot.
We'll just have Gorgonzola move over closer to the tree. Yeah. Come on, Gorgonzola. That's it. Whoa. There now. I guess we can wrap up the tree from here. You take one end of the blanket, Jonathan Thomas.
Okay.
And I'll take the t'other.
All right.
There.
Now. Oh, that's much better, Mr. Tree.
Oh, yes, thank you. Much better. And you're very kind to think about me, for after all, I'm only a tree.
Oh, thank you, please. And now, could maybe you tell us about where the pepper tree is, if you please?
It's just ahead, about 20 feet.
Oh, thank you very much, if you please.
You're more than welcome. And now that I'm warm and curled up tight, I'll say thank you and oh dear. Good night.
Oh, he's gone to sleep.
Goodness gracious. I'll guess he was so cool before he couldn't go to sleep. Come on, Gorgonzola, we'd better hurry. Or don't you worry, the dragon will gobble us down.
Oh, there it is. No. What were the words the Fairy Queen told us to say?
Jiminy crickets, I've almost forgot. Now, let's see.
Oh, no, I remember. It was 1, 2, 3. Please, pepper tree, give us some pepper ground. And if you do, it's nice of you.
Please throw it on the ground.
White, red, or black?
Oh, red, if you please.
It's to make the dragon sneeze. Okay. 1 can of red pepper coming down.
Thank you, sir.
Don't mention it, for we trees always strive to please. And if we please you, then please tell others. And if we don't, then please tell us trees.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Gorgonzola. Now, Jonathan Thomas, it's growing late. Giddy up, Gorgonzola. Come on.
Now, I bet if the old dragon tries to gobble us up...
Or down.
We'll fix him.
Say.
Oh, there he is again.
Where? I don't see him, I hope.
Oh, right there. Don't let him get me, Mr. Man in the Moon.
Halt! Stop! Stand still, I say. Whoa, Gorgonzola, whoa!
Oh, look! He's got on a policeman's badge and a policeman's hat.
Of course I have. And not only that, I've got my own court of law, for I'm the worst old dragon that anybody saw.
But we haven't done anything, if you please, Mr. Dragon.
That's what they all say. But just the same, they all must pay.
For I'm the dragon of the 13 tails.
Oh, dear.
Who moans and groans and weeps and wails. Who scares little boys and puppy dogs, too, and gobbles them up before they can count up to 2.
My gracious to goodness.
Who is he going to gobble us up, Mr. Man in the Moon?
Of course not. Yeah. We haven't got time to be gobbled up. That's your story.
And with it you're stuck, for you won't have such very good luck. And you'll make it easier if you'll stand right still till I've gobbled you up and had my fill.
Oh, no, we won't.
Oh, no, we won't.
I'm warning you now not to run. For ready or not, here I come. Quick, Jonathan Thomas. Throw the red pepper at him. Hurry up, quicker than fast.
Oh, all right. But I hope he can throw it straight. Here it goes. Oh.
Goodness gracious, you hit the mark. I'll eat you. Come on, Jonathan Thomas. We'd better fly like a bird on the wing.
Oh, he's coming after us again.
Giddy up, Gorgonzola. Run like everything.
Well, now. Do you suppose that terrible dragon with the 13 tails will be able to stop sneezing long enough to catch up with Jonathan Thomas and the Man in the Moon? Dragons can run awfully fast, you know. But we hope he doesn't, don't we? And we'll find out in the next story of Jonathan Thomas, too. So don't miss it, will you? I won't.
You are listening to Chesterton Radio at chestertonradio.com.
The Jack Benny Program, starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. "'Tis the night before Christmas, and at Jack Benny's house, there are presents for all, even cheese for the mouse. Jack is up on a chair, then he's down on his knee, but you have to do that when you're trimming a tree.
Well, we're all through, Mary. Gee, it was nice of you to come over and help me trim the tree.
Well, if I didn't, you'd never get it done. Say, Jack, shall I put the snow around the bottom now?
Not yet. I want to see if the lights are working. I'll hold up the bulbs, and when I say ready, you plug it in.
Okay. Ready?
Ready. Pull it out! Pull it out! Pull it out!
My goodness.
Oh, Jack, why did you make me shut it off? Those lights were so pretty, especially those two blue ones that kept flashing on and off.
Those were my eyes. I must have been holding on to a bare wire.
Well, it's your own fault. Every time you fool around with electricity, something goes wrong.
It does not. I know plenty about electricity.
Oh, sure. Remember what happened 2 years ago when you fixed your doorbell?
What happened?
I pushed the button and it burned down Crosby's house.
Oh, stop exaggerating. Anyway, hand me that roll of tape. Give me that tape. I'll fix this bare wire right now.
Here you are.
Thanks. Comes to electricity, I know what I'm doing. See, when you see a bare wire, you just tape it up like this. And that way it's insulated against outside elements. There, that ought to be enough tape. All right, Mary, plug it in.
Okay.
Pull it out! Pull it out! Pull it out! For heaven's sake.
What happened, Jack?
I taped my finger to the wire. That's what happened.
Oh, gee. And that time it was even prettier than before.
What do you mean?
Your nose lit up, too.
It did not. Let's get this tree finished before the gang gets here.
But, Jack, what about the lights?
We'll have to let that go until later. Now, hand me one of those...
Oh, Mr. Benny.
What is it, Rochester?
I baked that cake like you told me to.
Good. Did you have enough whipped cream to spell out Merry Christmas on top?
Yeah. Say, boss, how many R's in Merry?
2.
Oh.
So you better add one.
Add one? I better cross one out. I got 3.
Well, leave it. It's better than ruining the cake.
Okay.
Oh, Rochester, will you please take these Christmas tree lights and fix them?
Fix them?
Yes.
I ain't fooling around with electricity.
Now, what are you afraid of?
I ain't going to get hit by nothing I can't hit back.
Oh, Rochester. Imagine being afraid of electricity. Suppose Robert Fulton was afraid of electricity. He never would have invented the electric light. Would he?
Jack, you're thinking of Thomas Edison.
Edison? Well, then what did Robert Fulton do?
He said, don't give up the ship.
That was John Paul Jones. Now, let's not start that again. Now, Rochester, please fix these lights, will you?
Okay. Let's see. Now, in electricity, there's the electrons and the electrodes. Then there's the positive and the negative. But I ain't positive which one is negative. Then there's the atoms. Now, the atoms are supposed to go from the positive to the negative, or maybe they go from the electrons to the electrodes. Then again, maybe they go from Natchez to Mobile.
Rochester.
Now, as long as these atoms keep passing each other, everything is all right.
Yeah.
But when they meet halfway and start fighting, they're going to turn on anybody who tries to butt in.
Rochester, I'm not interested in the scientific details. I just want you to fix those lights. And I promise you, while you're holding the wires, no one in this room will turn on the switch.
I know, boss. While I'm holding the wire, you ain't going to turn on the switch, and Miss Livingston ain't going to turn on the switch.
Of course not.
But way up there at Boulder Dam, there's a little man sitting in a room with thousands of wires around him.
What?
How do I know he ain't going to do something just to break the monotony?
Oh, all right. I'll fix it myself. Go back in the kitchen. Come in.
I'm looking for Mr. Benny. Mr. Jack Benny.
Me?
Yes.
But you're a policeman.
Well, now, what do you know? This blue uniform has given me away again.
But, officer. Mary, say something.
But, officer.
Is that all you can say?
That's all you said.
Now, officer.
Mr. Benny, I hate to be doing this to you on Christmas Eve, but I have a complaint about you disturbing the peace last week at Moore's department store.
At Moore's department? Oh, that! Well, officer, that wasn't my fault at all. You see, first I had trouble with some crazy floor walker who kept hollering, "Stop breathing on my carnation." And then...
A little soul, please. I'm writing it down.
Yes, sir.
How many R's in carnation?
1. There. And then some silly guy kept following me around, asking me what I thought I ought to buy his wife for Christmas. Now, I didn't mind it the first time or the second time, but he kept hounding me. And just before the real trouble started, I was standing by the perfume counter when all of us, I was trying to buy some perfume for my sister Flora.
Here's your change, sir.
Thank you. Come on, Mary. Let's get over
I beg your pardon, mister.
Oh, it's you again.
What do you think I ought to buy my wife for Christmas?
I told you before, I don't know what you should buy your wife for Christmas. Figure it out yourself.
Figure it out yourself, he says. Figure it out yourself. Fine Christmas spirit.
Look, I don't care what you buy your wife for Christmas. Don't buy her anything.
Don't buy her anything? We've been married for 12 years. What are you trying to do, break us up?
Look, I don't know your wife. I've never seen your wife.
What's going on here? What's the trouble? That man's been caught stealing somebody's wife.
What?
At your age, you gray-haired wolf.
Now, wait a minute.
Sorry, please. One time. Let me through. What's going on here? What's going... Oh, it's you, my little Cupid with the droopy toopy.
Now, cut that out and don't blame me for this because it...
Stop breathing on my carnation.
I'll breathe on it as much as I like.
Stand back, everybody. The man is mad.
You're darn right I'm mad, and this is all your fault. Mister asked me to buy your wife for Christmas. For all I care, you can buy her a dog collar.
What size?
What size? There you are, folks. See what a crazy guy is, and you blame me. Why, it's not my fault. I'm not the type that would start trouble. I'm a peaceful home...
Shut up!
Oh, come on, Mary. Let's get out of here. And that's exactly what happened, officer. Believe me.
By golly, it's amazing. It sounds like something you'd hear on the radio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm convinced it wasn't your fault, and I'm going to forget all about this complaint and be wishing you folks a Merry Christmas.
The same to you, officer.
And a Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Say, Mary, he was a nice fella at that, wasn't
Yes, he was.
Now, come on, Mary. Let's put the presents around the tree before the gang gets here. Huh? Well, Mary, we got all the packages under the tree. It looks nice, doesn't it?
It sure does. Jack, if you're not going to use the Christmas tree lights, let's put on the candy canes.
Okay, here's the box, and you can... Hey, wait a minute. I had 12 candy canes, and now there are only 11. Where's the other one?
Don't look at me.
I'm not looking at you. I'm asking you.
All right, I ate it. Here's 10 cents.
Smarty. I bet you'd be surprised if I took it.
I wouldn't be surprised if you sued me.
Mary, let's get this finished, will you?
Jack, you better pick up those lights off the floor before somebody steps on them.
Oh, yes. Now, where can I put them? I'll put these lights up here on the chair. This chair right here. And, Mary, here's Rochester's present. I forgot that. Slip it under the tree. Boy, will he be surprised.
But, Jack, how'll he be surprised? You've got toilet water written all over the package.
Well, you got to do that with Rochester. When he opens a package and finds a bottle, he never stops to read the label. Last year, I gave him a miniature ship and a bottle, and the mast stuck out of his mouth for 3 days. Every time I asked him something, he had to answer me through the crow's nest. Believe me, Mary, I know what I'm doing.
Well, Jack, I guess that does it. Tree's all finished.
Yeah. Gee, it looks swell. I'm kind of tired. I think I'll sit down for a minute and smoke a cigarette. Mary, have you got a match?
No.
Oh, well.
Oh, say, boss,
What is it, Rochester?
are your socks dry yet?
My socks? I think so.
Well, people will be here soon. You better take them off the tree.
Oh, that's right. You take them off, will you, Rochester? I'm tired. I want to sit here a while.
Yes, sir. Say, this tree looks awful nice, but it's kind of dark. Oh, no wonder the lights aren't plugged in. I'll fix that.
Pull it out! Pull it out! Pull it out!
For heaven's sake.
Well, what's the matter, Jack?
I was sitting on the wire. As long as you're here, Rochester, give me a match.
You don't need it now. Your cigarette is lit.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Rochester.
Don't thank me. Thank that little man up at Boulder Dam.
Rochester. I wonder how that guy at Boulder Dam knew I was sick. Oh, well. Come in. Hello, Phil.
Hiya, Jackson. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Same to you, Phil.
Hey, Jackson, that Christmas tree looks terrific.
Yeah, it is a nice tree, isn't it?
Not only that, it's grown about 2 feet since last year.
Phil, this isn't the same one. You know, Phil, I believe in the old-fashioned way of getting a tree. I know when you get up early in the morning and bundle yourself up warm, and you throw an axe over your shoulder and go out in the woods, you know, way out in the wilderness and chop down your own Christmas tree.
Yeah, you're right, Jackson. Where'd you find this one?
In the lobby of the Beverly Wilshire Hotel.
You said it.
Timber!
Yes, sir.
Say, Jackson, you ought to see the tree I got in my house. I got it all decorated, and then right on top I got a big red star.
A red star? Phil, it's supposed to be a silver star.
I know, but this way I get 5 red points. Oh, Harris, you humorist. You're the Mark Twain of your generation.
Mark Twain. Phil, it's Twain. Twain.
Wheelie?
Phil, after a gag like that, you're lucky Santa doesn't scratch you with his claws. Say, that was pretty good, too.
Don't bother sending us Cracker Jack, Mother. We're now getting corn by the ton.
Oh, I don't know, Mary. I thought that was pretty cute. Hey, Phil, what do you got in that package there?
Oh, I forgot, Jackson. It's a Christmas present for you.
For me?
Yeah, me and the boys in the band all chipped in and got it for you.
Well, thanks. I'll put it under the tree.
Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. Open it up right now.
Okay. It was certainly nice of you and the boys to think of me. You know, I really didn't... Oh, Phil, thanks. Gee, a beautiful turtleneck sweater. Gee.
Well, look inside of it, Jackson.
Inside? Oh! Oh, Phil.
What is it, Jack?
A turtle. A fine present. I'll fix him. Imagine bring me a turtle for anything, Mary. Come here, Phil. Phil, sit down on my chair.
Well, thanks, Jackson.
Are you comfortable, Phil?
Sure.
Good. Mary, push in the plug.
Oh, Jack, you wouldn't dare.
Hand me the plug. I'll give it to him myself.
Hey, Jackson, what about my present?
Yes, sit where you are. You'll get it. It's a surprise. Mary, watch him jump. 1, 2, 3. There. Phil, don't you feel anything?
No, why?
Well,
what about the surprise? What's the matter?
We're having a little trouble at Boulder Dam.
Mary, I can't understand what went wrong. Phil, stand up a minute.
Okay.
Let's see. There must be something wrong with this thing. Pull it out! Pull it out! Pull it out! Fine thing to do to a guy on Christmas Eve.
Well, it's your own fault for trying to play a trick on Phil.
Oh, so that's it, eh, Jackson? Trying to give me a hot seat.
Oh, it was nothing, Phil. I was just trying to have a little fun. Pull it out! Pull it out!
Jack, that's a doorbell.
Oh. Come in. Hiya, Don. Hello, Larry.
Well, Donzel and Larry.
Gee, I'm glad you fellas were able to come over.
Oh, say, Mr. Benny.
Yes, Larry.
Well, last night I went to the movies and I saw a picture called Hollywood Canteen.
You did?
Yes. And you want to know something?
What?
You were in it.
Yes, I know, kid. I happened to see the picture.
8 times.
What?
On the days he can't go, he sends me.
Rochester.
Between you and me, that seat never gets a chance to cool off.
Never mind.
Well, say, Jack, I saw the picture, too.
You did, Don? Well, Don, tell me, how did my violin solo go over?
Well, Jack, this will amaze you.
Really?
When you started to play, the man next to me got all excited and enthused.
Oh, I get it, Don. I get it. You don't have to.
Okay, Mr. Benny, I got the cake and coffee on the table.
Good. Come on, fellas. Let's have a little bite. Come on, everybody. Now, take it easy, fellas. Take it easy. Take it easy. There's enough for all.
Yes, folks, you don't have to crowd. Just line up to the right and have your ticket stubs ready.
Rochester, this is Christmas.
Oh, yes, excuse me.
Now, fellas. Hey, who can that be? Come in. Well, I'll be darned.
Hiya, Buck. Hello, everybody.
Well, what a surprise. Andy Devine.
Well, who'd you think I was? Frank Sinatra?
No, Andy, your voice and figure are both a little huskier, I think. Hey, Andy, there's Don Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Skinny.
Hello, Fatso. Well, that's the first time I ever heard a pot call a pot a pot. Say, Andy, how's your mother?
Oh, she's swell, Buck. Hey, you know, it's nice the way you think of her every year.
Oh, I always call my friends around the holidays.
Well, you don't have to worry about Ma. Buck, she wouldn't think of buying her Christmas cards from anyone else but you.
I know. That's why I always throw in a couple of extra ones, you know?
Here you are, folks. Here's the... Oh, hello, Mr. Devine.
Well, hello, Rochester.
I'm glad you dropped in on the boss. Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without you.
Well, thanks, Roch. You know, the holidays wouldn't be the same if I didn't see all of you folks.
Those are the two voices that drove Gravel Gertie into hiding. Say, come on, Andy. You're just in time to have a bite to eat. And listen, I've been saving a bottle of champagne just for this occasion. Let's drink a toast.
Champagne? Oh,
come on,
yeah.
fellas, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, Rochester, give me that bottle of champagne.
Here you are, boss. Shall I open it?
No, I'll open it myself. Thank you. Now, let's see. Champagne corks are so tight. Gee, they're hard to get loose.
For goodness sake, fellas, don't just stand there. Pull a cork out of his mouth.
Okay, hold your head still, Jackson. I'll pull a cork out. Now, there.
Jack, say something.
Boy. Here, Rochester. Rochester, fill the glasses.
Yes, sir.
Hey, fellas, how about a toast?
Hey, I got one.
Go ahead, Andy. A toast, go ahead.
Here's to you, Buck, Mary, Phil, and the whole gang. We've been friends for a long time, and I hope it always stays that way. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, Andy! Merry Christmas!
Jack, can I give a toast, too?
Sure. Go right ahead, Mary.
A Merry Christmas to everyone, everywhere.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas to all. That's right. Glad to see you.
Say, Jack, how about a toast from you?
Me? Yeah, I'd like to give a toast, too, Don. This is a toast to a lot of fellas I met in Africa, Europe, and the South Pacific. and to all you other boys out there I wasn't lucky enough to meet. Fellas, this is Christmas Eve, a time for happiness and good fellowship, a time when our hearts should be humble and forgiving. But this is war, and I've seen what you boys are up against on both sides of the world. I know the Christmas spirit must seem a very distant thing when you're crouched in a muddy foxhole or wading through the half-frozen slush. I know, too, that there's very little to remind you of Christmas inside a stifling tank or in the icy cockpit of a B-29 6 miles above Tokyo. Maybe you feel it as something you lost long, long ago, because the only Christmas lights you see are the bursts of shells or the flashing path cut by tracer bullets. But Christmas is a spirit that springs from within and is so strong it transcends even the ugly scenes of a battlefield and fills the soul with a passion to defend the things that are right and just. You are the ones who have gone to the ends of the earth to preserve the freedom you know belongs to every man, to hasten the day when all mankind can once again live in dignity and in peace. So here's to you, fellas. Merry Christmas, and God bless you all.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Christ the Lord. Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie above thy deep and dreamless sea. The silent stars go by, yet in thy dark street shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace.
Good night, folks.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax, Johnson's Car New, and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber, McGee, and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. In this week before Christmas, there's probably more friendliness in the air than at any other time of the year. As we grow older, it's not the gifts of Christmas that we feel, but the friendly spirit back of them, the good smile, the warm hand clasp of neighbors and friends. When these friends and relatives gather with your own family in your own home, you realize what it means to have a home in a free country. you ever waited till the last minute to buy your Christmas tree, only to find that the dealers were all sold out? You have? Well, then maybe you can whip up a little throb of sympathy for Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Well, I'm afraid it's no use, McGee. We've been to 7 different lots, and we haven't seen a loose spruce.
Don't worry. I'll get us a Christmas tree if I have to chop one off the courthouse lawn.
Well, then I'll have to change my Christmas present for you.
Huh?
That war bond. I'll make it a bail bond.
Yeah.
Say, why on earth didn't you go buy a tree last week, as I suggested?
Because they were asking ridiculous prices, that's why. Most of them slum-raised lumber jerks were asking $7.50 for a bow-legged little balsam no bigger than a whisk broom.
Do you think they get cheaper as they get scarcer?
That ain't the point. The point is to find the guy that's overstocked, see? Afraid he isn't going to get rid of them by Christmas. Get one for a song that way.
We should have brought Nelson Eddy with us then. I've heard you sing in the shower, and that soapy opera of yours wouldn't get us anything but a raspberry bush. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Nesmith.
Who's that?
Mrs. Nesmith.
Oh. Say, there's a lot right along in here someplace where the guy had 1,000,000 trees last week, and he can't possibly... Oh, here it is. Come on.
Oh, that must be the salesman. I beg your pardon, sir, but is that Christmas tree for sale, and if so, how much... Well, heavenly days, Uncle Dennis.
Hello, Molly, darling, and Fibber, lad.
Hi, Unc. Where's the sap in charge of the saplings? We want to negotiate for a live log.
Well, now, I'm sorry, lad, I am indeed. The gentleman in charge of this Christmas tree lot, a fine lad by the name of Monahan, may his pretzels never grow soggy, as he is one of the grandest guys that ever tripped a fruit peddler to take his hungry mother a big juicy apple, has closed up and gone home.
Yeah, but we wanted to buy this Christmas tree, Uncle Dennis.
Yeah, not that it's much of a tree. I've seen better fur on a mouse.
Well, now, isn't it a shameful thing that you should be too late and all like that? It was only 10 minutes ago, lad, by your very own wristwatch, which I happened to be wearing as it was lying about loose in your top dresser drawer, and I don't happen to have one myself. It was sold.
Oh, dear, but there's no sales tag on the tree, Uncle Dennis.
And who, may I ask, was stupid enough to dish out good dough for that beetle-bitten hunk of tumbleweed?
'Twas myself.
You?
You? You bought the last Christmas tree in this lot, knowing that we didn't have one?
No. And how was I to know that a smart gazzoon like yourself would be getting caught without a tree? 'Twas a bargain given to me by my good friend Monahan, who is quite a man at singing the camalias, which are a regular feature of Grogan's beefsteak dinners. May they soon be resumed when Hitler, the dirty little house painter, gets his comeuppance and Hito finds our heroes turning on the heat hole.
Say, why do you want a Christmas tree, Uncle Dennis? You live with us.
Come on, Unc, sell it to us, will you? What do you say? Whatever you paid for it, I'll toss an extra 2 bits on the drop.
2 bits? That I could not do, lad.
Huh?
'Twas buying this tree for a dear friend I was. And there ain't enough money in the world to make Dennis Driscoll betray a trust. And the very idea is enough to make my old father, may the little people keep his pipe lit for him, look down and say, would you think of making it $2 extra now?
No, I wouldn't.
That's ridiculous.
Very well, you can't blame a man for trying to pick up a couple of bucks. A very Merry Christmas to you. Oh, turn on the tail, people!
Can you imagine that, my own uncle?
Of all the dirty, low-down tricks, a fine Christmas spirit. Chipping his own family out of the last Christmas tree in town.
You think it really is, dearie?
Well, it might be. Come on, let's look some more. Goodwill toward men. That was a fine sample of it. Here we are with the whole world full of misery, needing friendship and sacrifice more than any time in history, and what happens? We get bopped with a balsam. If that ain't the dirtiest...
Oh, McGee, look.
Huh?
There's a Christmas tree place right there. And there's Alice Darling coming out of it. Yoo-hoo, Alice.
Oh, hello, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Hi, Alice. Don't tell us you're shopping for a Christmas tree, too.
Oh, jeepers, no, Mr. McGee. On account of anybody who was silly enough to wait till now to buy their Christmas tree is simply just too stupid for anything. What are you doing down here?
We're buying a Christmas tree.
Oh, well, that's what I say. It's much better to wait till the last minute when it isn't so crowded and the trees are much fresher or something. When I bought my tree 2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago?
If you bought a tree, what'd you do with it, Alice? We didn't see it around the house anyplace. And a pine tree ain't exactly what you might call unobtrusive.
Oh, well, I didn't buy it for me, Mr. McGee, on account of jeepers. I've only got one room, and a girl which she lives in just one room only needs a little piece of mistletoe. You know what that is. That's the ivy that if you don't meet the right people under it, it's poison.
Ah, dear, and if you do, it's the berries.
Why, Molly.
Oh, I just love Christmas time because that's when you can dash up to people and kiss them like it was a sudden impulse. And I've already made out a list of the sweetest men to have sudden impulses about. Oh, that's one nice thing about being a girl. You can be girlish and people don't think anything about it.
Now I know what I forgot to get Alice for Christmas, dearie. Lipstick.
Yeah, that brotherly love stuff is great, ain't it, Alice? Particularly when you run out of brothers.
Well, I don't want that you should get the idea that I simply rush around kissing simply everybody, Mr. McGee, because really I'm a very reserved character. You know, once I was in love with a fellow for 3 years, and he never even held my hand, and then he married another girl.
Oh, who was that, Alice?
Cary Grant. Creepers, I'd like to have met that man. Well, I hope you find a Christmas tree, Mr. McGee. Goodbye now.
Well, shall we give it up, McGee?
No, sir. I started out to get a Christmas tree, and by the curly cut and cover crop of a corner Kris Kringle, I'm going to get a Christmas tree.
Well, you might fly up to Canada and get one, but it would be a lonesome trip.
What you mean?
The other geese won't be flying back for a couple of months yet.
Okay. Scoff if you want to. Be right. But I'm telling you if I...
Merry Christmas, Miss Curry.
Who was that?
Miss Curry.
I'm telling you, Molly, when I set out to get a Christmas tree, by George, Hey, here's a place on the corner here.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Say, Alice Darling might have told us she was getting one. She could have got us one at the same time.
Well, what do you expect of people? Consideration? It's no wonder they always picture Santa Claus as a fat mug standing there holding the bag. My gosh,
Oh,
people...
look, McGee, this place seems to have plenty of trees.
Yeah, they had plenty last week, too. And the guy that runs this pocket-picking concession thinks no more of a quarter than I do of my left leg. Pocket-picking concession. Pocket-picking papa. That guy wouldn't lend you a match without 4 cosigners. Hi, bud. Remember me?
Yeah. You were the guy last week that waved a $1 bill at me. And for that, I was supposed to sell you a 12-foot tree, deliver it, trim it, sing 3 Christmas carols, and carve you a turkey.
Listen, we couldn't get a turkey. We're having chicken.
Yeah, we're having turkey. Now, don't take me so literally, Molly. Look, bud, if you have a nice, reasonable price tree, we might
Yeah, we got only one left.
Better take it quick, dearie.
Not so fast. They like to haggle a little bit. Now, which tree is it, bud? If it's the right size...
You're leaning on it.
Heavenly days, that one?
You call this broken-down bird sanctuary a Christmas tree? Well, I've seen better trees than that in an old pair of tennis shoes. That moth-eaten bramble looks like it was raised in a cold hothouse.
How much is it, sir?
Much too much, lady. The price is way out of line. If I was you, I'd skip it.
Don't tell me how much I can pay for a tree, bud. I'm not as poor as I may look.
I hope not, friend. You look like a holdout from a handout.
Well, how much?
$12.
$12? $12 for that sad-looking cedar? Why, that cone carrier's got more broken branches than the Berlin Public Library. And look at those bare limbs. You could sure find a haystack in those needles. And besides, last week you only wanted $9 for the same tree.
Well, last week the town was full of Christmas trees. And furthermore, Oh, hiya, Mr. Wilcox.
Hello there, Louie. How are you, Molly? Hiya, Fibber.
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, Junior. What you looking so happy about?
Who, me? No, I don't know. Just the old Christmas feeling, I guess. I love this time of year, don't you?
No, I guess everybody does, Mr. Wilcox. Got your Christmas window shopping all done?
Just about. And I suppose the presents are all piled up at your house.
We stack them on the piano, Junior.
Yeah, and from the looks of the Christmas tree situation, that's where they're going to stay, too.
Yeah.
Oh, so what? It won't hurt anything. Not when anyone keeps the piano and woodwork and lampshades and windowsills and everything Protected from scratching and holiday wear and tear like you do with Johnson's wax.
Oh, it's nothing.
You think it's nice, Junior? You think it's nice to be so commercial about Johnson's wax on a holiday like Christmas? You think that's very couth?
This, pal, is Tuesday. Christmas is Saturday. And on Saturday, I say nothing about Johnson's wax. I merely say things like, thank you. And, gee, that's wonderful, but you shouldn't have done it. And, very little ice in mine, and stuff like that.
Well, personally, we've been so upset trying to get a Christmas tree, Mr. Wilcox, that we haven't...
Excuse me, Molly. Hey, Louie, how much is this tree here?
$12, Mr. Wilcox. It ain't worth it, frankly, but it's the last one I got.
I'll take it. Here's 15, and wish yourself a Merry Christmas with the rest of it.
For $3, I can wish myself 6 Merry Christmases. Thanks, Mr. Wilcox.
Hey, wait a minute. I was dickering for that tree myself, Wilcox. Now, looky here, Louie.
To you, friend, the name is Mr. Zambowski. And we can't do no business. The tree is sold.
You see, Mr. Wilcox, we were...
Gee, I wouldn't have had this happen for anything in the world, folks, if I'd only known you wanted it. I thought you were merely friends of Louie here.
He should live so long.
They say a man can't have too many friends, but in your case, Bud, it would be too many. Now, look, Wilcox, we haven't got a Christmas tree, and we were merely trying to decide about this.
Believe me, pal, believe me, I'm terribly sorry. To think that I should walk in and grab it right out from under your nose.
Oh, gee whiz.
Well, I ought to be ashamed of myself. I'll take it with me, Louie. Well, I'll see you later, kids. To think that I should pull a shabby trick like that on my best friend.
Well,
I'm afraid it was your own fault, dearie. You had the first chance at it. Well, Merry Christmas, Mr. Zambowski.
And the same to you, lady.
Come on, McGee.
Standing there like a friend, chatting away as gabby as you please. And all the time. Oh, this hurts.
Oh, heavenly days. We don't have to have a tree, you know. Lots of people don't.
It ain't not having a tree that bothers me. It's the way my friends and relatives undercut and chisel on me. Uncle Dennis, Alice Darling, and Harlow Wilcox. Christmas spirit. Where is it? And here when I had a chance to get a beautiful big tree.
That isn't what you told the man it was.
Oh, my gosh, you can't have any fun dickering with guys if you tell them how beautiful their merchandise is. First make a man ashamed to ask the price he's asking, see? And then when you get
McGee,
into...
I think... Merry Christmas, Mr. Kramer.
Who's that?
Mr. Kramer.
What were you saying?
I was about to say that I think the grocery store's about our last chance to get a tree. Might as well look. Just a few doors down, you know.
Oh, my gosh, I never thought of that. Come on. I'm not so sure about buying a tree at the grocery either. Jimmy Sale will probably ask us 8 green points for it.
I don't think it. Look in the window, McGee. They still got a couple. Hurry up now.
These are both sold, and Lady Luck could know what I think of her. She'd forget she was a lady.
Well, one is sold, McGee, but the other still has a price tag on it.
How much?
Let me see. $6.
Oh, boy, that's a deal. I'm going to grab onto this till the clerk gets here, too. Anybody that gets this tree away from me will have to start trimming it with my 2 arms.
Well, as the taxi driver said when Einstein got out of the crowded cab, this is certainly a mind off of my load.
Yes, sir. Next time, maybe you'll believe me when I tell you that I know what I'm talking about.
Hello there, Fibber. Hello, Molly.
Hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hi, Doc, old man. Happy Yuletide and all stuff like that there.
Why are you hugging the tree, McGee? Just a nature lover, or are you going to climb it and hunt for birds' nests?
Oh, he's just making sure nobody beats him out of it till the clerk gets around to him, Doctor.
Yeah, till this deal is signed, sealed, and delivered, I stick to this trunk like a baggage label. Pretty nice little spruce, eh, Doc? Spruce.
Not a spruce. Douglas fir. Douglas firs.
I thought it was a balsam.
Might be some kind of a cedar.
Might be some kind of a cypress, too, but it isn't.
You know, my cousin had one of those on his farm near Peoria. We squeezed apples in it every fall.
In what?
A cider press.
Oh. I didn't say cider press. I said cypress.
Oh.
The cypress is a symmetrical evergreen common to the western United States. Very interesting study, that of our non-deciduous trees. The pine tree, like most coniferous trees, is an evergreen, the larch being a conspicuous exception.
Oh, are you an expert on plants and trees, Doctor?
They used to be a hobby of mine, Molly. Botany is a very interesting subject.
Of the two, which do you like best, Doc?
Of which two?
Plants and trees or botany?
Why, they're the same thing, dearie. I had it in high school. In fact, I was the pistol-packing mama of the lily collectors.
I thought maybe Doc knew so much about him because he was a tree surgeon at heart.
No, but if I ever hear of a sap needing a transfusion, I'll know where to come.
Oh, yeah? Yeah? I'd show you who was a sap if I dared let loose of this tree for a minute.
Oh, now, boy.
One excuse is as good as any, McGee. By embracing that tree, you're probably saving yourself a few very spectacular contusions.
Is that so?
Yes.
Why, you unreasonable facsimile of a male brother. For 2 aspirin tablets...
Now, McGee. Is that any way to talk while hugging a Christmas tree?
No, it isn't, Molly, and it was my fault. Sorry, McGee. No time for quarrels.
Okay, Doc. Well, then, I'm a little hasty myself at times.
Not about buying Christmas trees.
Well, real friends are too scarce to fight with them. In fact, McGee, I retract all the unpleasant things I ever said about you in the past.
Oh, I do too, Doc. I even take back the stuff I thought about you. And that's even dirtier than what I said.
Well, now, this is better. You know, Christmas is a time when we should all be friends.
I think so, too. Let bygones be bygones, McGee. Be a pal.
Well, that goes for me, too, Doc. Here, I'd like to shake your hand.
Good. So would I.
Isn't that nice?
Wait till I get untangled from this weeping willow here, and put her there, Doc.
I think this is one of the sweetest things I ever saw.
All right, Doc, let go of my hand.
Wait a minute. Hey, Joe!
Yes, Doctor?
Put that Christmas tree in my car, will you?
What?
Hey, wait a minute. What the... Now, look, Doc,
Pay for it the next time you come in.
Doggone it, Doc, let go of my hand, will you? You double-crossing double... Doc Gamble, come back here with that Christmas tree.
Cheer up, McGee. Heavenly days, it isn't a Christmas tree that makes Christmas, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's the Christmas spirit. Christmas spirit, blah. All I've seen of it today...
Merry Christmas, Mr. Crockett.
Who is that?
John Crockett from Washington.
Oh, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Here it is, the season where everybody is supposed to love everybody, so what do? They go around grabbing Christmas trees out of people's hands. The timber thieves. The first guy that says Merry Christmas to me, I'm going to hang up my sock right on his chin. Merry Christmas, Bud.
Same to you. Thanks.
Who was that?
Search me, but I got as much right to holler at people on the street as you have. Doggone it, if those so-called throat-cutting, sheep-stealing friends of mine knew how bad I wanted that tree, I'd... Hey.
What?
What if we string the colored lights on that rubber plant of yours and... Oh, no. That's no good. Doggone it, I trust people too much. But not now. Take a good look at your husband, Mrs. McGee. You recognize him?
Why shouldn't I?
Because he just had his faith lifted, that's why. Now on, little Fibber's going to go along looking after little Fibber. Period. As long as everybody is throwing the love your fellow man stuff overboard, I might just as well...
Hi, Mr. McGee. Hi, Mr. McGee. Merry Christmas.
Oh, hi, little girl. And if you must yammer out those Yuletide wall mottos, sis, just say, a good December 25th to you. Or season's greetings, sir, or something like that. Skip the Merry Christmases as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, he's a little disappointed. He'll get over some.
Yeah, I'll get over this like Dan McGrew got over his lead poisoning. Sis, I'm glad I saw you while you were still young. If you still believe in this...
Hey, mister.
Huh?
Look up on your front porch.
What do you mean, look up on our front porch?
Why, McGee, look, the porch is full of Christmas trees.
Why, what in the...
I've just been reading the tags on them, mister.
Huh?
There's one from Dr. Gamble and one from Mr. Wilcox and Alice Darling and one from Billy Mills, I bet you, and one from Uncle Dennis and
Oh,
one...
my gosh. You mean they were all buying them trees for us? Well, I never thought... Well, gee whiz, come on. Boy, oh, boy.
Here, old Oh, my heavenly days. Here's the King's men and everybody. McGee, get out the root beer. I'll get some cookies.
Just a small root beer for me, McGee. I got to operate in the morning.
McGee, can you close your mouth and pull in your eyeballs long enough to thank these people for the Christmas trees?
Well, look, everybody. Well, gee whiz. All I can say is... Well, Merry Christmas.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, Mr. McGee.
What do you want, sis?
Look, I got my whole gang here again. Kenny and Bud and Johnny and Reddy and Billy Mills and all the fellas, and we thought maybe it'd be nice to sing that same song we sang last Christmas.
Well, sis, that's a wonderful idea. People have been writing in all year asking us to do that again. So here's The Night Before Christmas, as originally set to music by Ken Darby of the King's Men.
Christmas and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
The children were nestled all warm in their wee little beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their wee little heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's
When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, threw open the sash. Then, what to my wondering, I should appear but a miniature sleigh and a tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick that I knew right away that it must be St. Nick. All bundled in fur from his head to his foot, old Santa was covered with ashes and soot. I drew in my head and was turning around when down the chimney he came with a
His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow. and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow.
The stump of a little old pipe he held tight in his teeth, and smoke went around and around and around his head like a wreath. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf. Then I laughed and I laughed and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. He had a broad face, oh ho ho, and a little round belly, oh ho ho, that shook when he laughed, oh ho ho, like a bowl full of jelly. Oh ho, he gave me a wink of his eye and a twist of his head. A chuckle and a smile I knew all the while I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings.
Oh, boy.
Then turned with a jerk. Then laying a finger aside of his nose and giving a nod up the chimney he rode. He sprang to his sleigh, to his knees, gave a whistle, and away that a creature is stirring, not even the mouse. The presents are scattered and broken, I fear, and St. Nicholas won't come again for a year. The children are nestled all warm in their wee little beds, while memories of sugar plums dance in their wee little heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap are settled at last for a long winter's
Ladies and gentlemen, most of you have brothers and fathers and sons, yes, and maybe daughters in the service, here and overseas.
Yes, so when you write to them next, please tell them they have the sincere and heartfelt wishes for a speedy and safe return and a Merry Christmas from
Fibber, McGee.
and Molly.
Good night.
Good night, all.
With the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. Faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fellow. I'll Silver. This is a story of 3 Christmas trees that figured in the life of Eric Flint. The first was in a small, poorly furnished room in Omaha. Eric was 25 years old and happy with his bride of 2 weeks.
Christmas Eve, Eric. Our first Christmas together.
And my first Christmas tree.
Oh, no, Eric. Not really.
It's true, Abby.
You mean to say you never had a Christmas tree? Not even when you were a child?
I told you about my childhood. Wasn't an easy one. An orphan, you know.
Well, that's behind you now. Let's look to the future. Why, in just a month, you'll be starting for the West.
And 1 year from now... Oh, Abby, I have a feeling that the West is going to be good to us.
I wish I might go with you.
Oh, not right away, dear. It'd be better if you stay here where you have friends until I get established.
But you'll send for me soon, won't you?
Why, of course.
And you'll write often. I'll write you, too. I'll write every day. Oh, but I'll not know where to send the letters.
You hold the letters until I find a place to settle.
I do hope it will be soon.
Don't you worry, dear. By next Christmas, we'll be together in the West. We'll have a new home and a new life.
That was Eric's first Christmas tree. During the year that followed, Eric met hardships and discouragement. There was little he could write that was hopeful. He moved restlessly from place to place, never stopping long. After long months, he came to Osage and found work to his liking. He decided to send for his wife. It was Christmas Eve when he wrote the letter.
Dear Abigail, I am writing by the light of candles on a Christmas tree. It's a small tree in my bedroom. I have it because it takes me back to last year when I was with you. I've decided to settle here in Osage. I've secured a position in the bank, and I think I can make it a career. You were going to write me every day and hold the letters until I gave you an address. Please send them now. And pray join your devoted husband soon, so we may build our home together.
That was Eric's second Christmas tree. There was no reply to Eric's letter. He wrote repeatedly and, hearing nothing, finally concluded that long absence had killed Abigail's love. He devoted all his time and energy to work in the bank, and his advancement was rapid. He had no friends and wanted none. He drove hard bargains and was known for his shrewd deals. When the banker died, he bought the business and became more heartless and unbending than ever. Inwardly, he resented the happy homes of other men, and he hated Christmas, which had become a symbol of the hopes and happiness he had lost. In 10 years, he became one of the wealthiest men in the community and one of the most despised. It was early on the night before Christmas when he entered the rear door of his office with 2 men.
All right, sit down over there. Cooper, you and Butch are considered good gunmen.
None better.
I'm hiring both of you as bodyguards.
You afraid someone you swindled will gun you?
I've never swindled anyone in my life.
Well, maybe you stayed within the law, but you've made some mighty sharp deals.
I'm a good businessman, that's all.
Well, maybe it's good business to drive folks out of their homes so you can add dollars to your bankroll. But I don't know. Are all good businessmen afraid of being shot?
It's only that a masked man's looking for me.
Masked man?
Butch brought word of him.
I was in Washoe when he came there making inquiries.
You didn't tell him where to find me, did you, Butch?
No, but he'll find you sooner or later. Someone you outshopped in the past?
I don't know who he is.
He told you, Cooper. The critter wears a mask. Also 2 guns tied low.
I want one or the other of you near me at all times.
Get your hands. Oh, it's only Hammond.
Mr. Flint.
Hammond, what do you mean by busting into my office like this?
Why, I didn't bust in, Mr. Flint.
All right, get out. I'm busy.
I've got to see you on business.
Then see me in the morning during business hours.
Tomorrow? Well, tomorrow's Christmas.
What of it?
And, anyway, that'll be too late to talk about what I have in mind. I owe you some money.
Your mortgage is due next week, first of the year.
Yes, sir. I won't be able to pay it, Mr. Flint.
You know the alternative.
Yes, sir. You'll take over my house. That's why I'm here.
If you expect more time...
No, I know better than to ask for that. I didn't come to ask for an extension.
And what do you want?
Well, you know very well that my place is worth 3 times as much as I owe you.
I always get good collateral on a loan.
Well, I figured that maybe you'd let me have just $20 more. I want to buy my boy some things for Christmas.
Christmas presents?
He's just a little critter. He thinks Santa Claus will sure enough come to visit our house tonight. He's too young to know that...
He must learn that life is full of disappointments. The sooner he learns it, the better.
The store will be open late, Mr. Flint. If you could just let me have $10.
No.
Just a couple of...
It's not the amount of the cash. It's the principle that's involved. Now, you'll have to excuse me. I'm busy.
All right, Mr. Flint. I guess I'll have to tell my boy that...
Yeah, poor galoot. After like giving him some cash out of my pocket. Well, I'd have done so, but I figured the boss wouldn't like it.
And you're quite right. I have no time for sentiment. Interferes with business.
Hey, look, the window of face. He's mad.
Masked man, get goes. Around the corner of the building. Get your horses. Get after him. Bring him back dead or alive. Come on, Cooper. We'll see why that critter was looking for the boss.
Donnie, dear, turn over and go to sleep.
Where's Daddy?
He had to go out on an errand. Good night, son.
This is the happiest night in the whole year, Mom. Gosh, Christmas Eve. Santa Claus will be here before I wake up.
Hi, son.
Oh, Dave, I didn't hear you come in.
Dad! Gosh, I'm glad you got home before I went to sleep.
So am I, son. I want to talk to you.
Dave, you saw him?
No luck, Mary.
Dear.
What are you talking about, Dad?
We've got to have a little talk. Man to man, just the two of us. You go to the other room, Mary.
Dad, is something wrong?
No, nothing particular. You see, son, we were planning to move out of here next week.
I know that. Where are we moving?
Well, you wouldn't know the place. But the point I was getting to, son, was that being as we're leaving, maybe it'll be better if Santa Claus sort of waits and brings you the things you want after we get settled.
But I've asked for special things for moving.
Hmm?
Sure. I wanted him to fetch Mom some new boots and you a gun to make up for the one you sold. You don't need it, Dad.
Didn't you ask for something for yourself?
Oh, sure. I asked for a knife.
I see.
And Santa Claus will fetch it, too. I know he will.
Look, son, this is sort of a bad year. You know how hard up everyone is.
Oh, sure.
And there are lots of folks who are worse off than we are. Other parts of the country. Old Santa has a pretty big job taking care of them all.
Why?
Well, he can only cover so much ground. He has to sort of forget some folks, take care of the others.
But why? He's a spirit, isn't he?
I wanted you to sort of understand it, Donnie, because he might have to skip over this community altogether. I didn't want you to be disappointed.
Oh, you're fooling me. So I'll be more surprised when I see that Christmas tree you're going to bring. And the things for you and Mom and the knife for me.
But, son...
He'll be here. You just wait and see.
All right, boy. Nice.
Nice, Dad.
What'd you tell him, Dave?
Mary.
What is it, Dave? Oh, that look on your face.
I tried to tell him that Santa Claus wouldn't ever find people as far from everything as we are. But the faith of that child, Mary.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to have another talk with Eric Flint.
Flint's bodyguards rode hard in pursuit of the masked man, but were quickly outdistanced. After a couple of miles, they gave up the chase and turned their tired horses back toward town. As they halted and dismounted behind the bank, they little suspected that in their absence, Dave Hammond had returned and was with Eric Flint for the second time in less than an hour. The gunman opened the door and found themselves staring into the muzzle of a heavy pistol.
Step right in. Hey, what? But keep your hands at shoulder level.
Hey, I told you I wanted one of you to be with me at all times. Now look what's happened. Great day.
Kick that door closed with your heel. Now draw your gun slowly. Drop him to the floor.
Better do as he says. He's out of his mind.
I'll kick him toward me.
Boss, how'd this happen? How'd Hammond get you roped like this? He came in while you were gone. Threatened me with a club while he took the gun out of my desk.
What is it, Hammond? A stick-up? Call it what you want. My son's in bed right now dreaming about Christmas. He's not going to be disappointed.
You think that justifies a robbery?
I'm taking only the cash you critters have in your pockets up to $20. That's all I'm taking. You're getting my house, Flint. That'll more than make up for what I'm doing.
How do you expect to get away with anything like this? Don't you know what'll happen as soon as you lower that gun?
I'll get away with this until after Christmas. After that, I don't care what happens. Now, you two face the wall and get your wrists behind your back. After I've got your rope, we're going for a walk.
A walk?
I'm taking you to an old shack I know of. You'll stay there roped until the day after tomorrow.
Then what?
Then I'll be leaving town. I'll send someone to turn you loose.
You just wait, Hammond. Just wait, that's all. I'll see if you pay for this if it's the last thing I do.
And I'm going to give Donnie a Christmas tree and presents if it's the last thing I do.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. To continue. After outdistancing the gunman who had been hired to guard Eric Flint, the Lone Ranger rode in a wide circle and returned to the vicinity of Osage. He went to a woods at the edge of town where Tonto was waiting at a former campsite. The Indian had built a lean-to of evergreens to serve as a shelter from the wind.
When I received your message that Eric Flint was in Osage, I came from Washoe as quickly as possible.
You see Flint?
Yes, I saw him, Tonto, but I didn't speak to him. There was a light in his office, so I looked through the window.
A fella come to town, tell Flint. You look for him.
Oh? Did he say why I was looking for him?
No. Flint planned to hire a bodyguard.
That accounts for the way those men came after me.
Well, you get good look at Flint?
More than that, Tonto. His office window was open just enough so I could hear what was going on.
Oh.
He's just as bitter as a man can be. Cruel and hard. He was talking to a man named Hammond, who wanted to give his boy a Christmas present. Hammond nearly saw me when he left the office.
Plenty people in town owe Flint money.
And he's going to collect every penny, no matter how ruthless he has to be.
That's right. Everyone hates Flint.
Oh, he's not to be hated, Tonto. He's to be pitied. He's lost his sense of values and his sense of fair play. And he's lost more than that. He's lost practically everything that makes life worthwhile. Silver's uneasy.
Maybe someone come this way.
Yes, I see them. 4 men.
Them not come here. Them turn south.
Stay here with the horses, Tonto. I'm going to dodge through the trees and get closer. The man who's walking behind looks like Hammond. And one of the men ahead of him could be Eric Flint.
Remaining out of sight behind big trees, the Lone Ranger kept pace with the 3 men whose hands were tied, and Hammond walking behind them holding a gun.
2 cents I'd take a chance and turn on you, Hammond.
You hadn't better. I've never shot a man. But tonight I'm ready to go all out.
Hammond, you're a thief. A common thief, that's what you are.
I don't feel like one. The $20 I took from your pockets, added to what I borrowed from you, is just a fraction of what my house and property's worth.
A common thief.
There's the shack. Open the door and go in.
Now listen to me, Hammond. Let's talk this over.
Never mind the talk. You want all my property for practically nothing. And you can have it. But my boy's going to get a Christmas present. Then we're pulling out of here.
You better drop that gun. What? There he is in the doorway. Mask. Butch Cooper, look at him. Moonlight shows that mask.
I said drop the gun, Hammond.
He's the one we saw at the window.
I've dropped my gun. Now what?
I've been looking for Flint for a long time.
Why were you looking for me?
I had something to tell you, Flint, but that can wait. I have new plans. Hammond, I'm going to tie you and leave you here with the gunman.
Quickly and deftly, the Lone Ranger made sure that Hammond and Flint's bodyguards were tightly bound. Then he hurried Flint to the camp where Tonto waited and gave the Indian a few instructions.
And stand guard until I return to the shack.
Me savvy.
Oh, and one thing before you go, Tonto. While you were in town, did you hear of men who are in debt to Eric?
Me hear of plenty.
Give me some of their names.
The masked man made a mental note of several names, then lifted Flint to the back of Silver and, riding double, guided the great white horse at a slow walk toward town.
Where are you going to take me to kill me? I'm not going to kill you, Flint.
Listen, whoever you are, mister. I'll make a deal with you. I have money, plenty of money. You help me jail Hammond for what he did, and then...
You'd throw him into jail tonight?
I certainly would.
But it's Christmas Eve.
Humbug.
It may mean more to you in an hour. Oh, look at those houses. Almost everyone is brightly lighted. A lot of people in those houses owe you money, don't they?
What of it?
Flint, at some time during your life, you must have heard the story of Scrooge. You're a lot like him.
He said Christmas was humbug, and I agree.
He was visited by the spirits of Christmas. They did a lot for him.
Poppycock.
Who lives in that White House straight ahead?
Why should I tell you?
Tell me.
All right. Dan Dickerman.
One of the names Tonto gave me. You hold a mortgage on that house, don't you?
Yes, and he'll never be able to repay me.
We'll call on him. Come on, Silver.
Happy sounds of laughter and gay voices could be heard from Dickerman's small house when the Lone Ranger halted Silver and dismounted. Flint's hands were still tied, and he had to be helped to the ground.
Hear that, Flint?
I hear it.
We're going in there, and I think you'll be due for a surprise.
I don't know why the Dickerman family should feel so happy. They're going to lose their house in another week.
They're happy because they're alive and well, and they have each other. All right, we'll go inside.
Mr. Flint.
Walk ahead of me.
Mr. Flint, we don't have to... That is, the mortgage isn't due until... A masked man.
Mr. Flint, what does this mean?
Can't you see my hands are tied? He's holding a gun on me.
This man is my prisoner. Dickerman, you signed an agreement with him, didn't you?
Yes, sir, but who are you and why are you masked?
Are you going to be able to repay that money?
No.
But the mortgage isn't due yet.
Suppose I told you that your contract with Eric Flint was illegal.
Illegal?
Suppose Eric Flint could be put into jail for the way he has treated a number of people.
That's not true. You can't put me in jail. Every paper I've ever signed is legal and binding.
Be quiet, Flint. Dickerman, we can't put Flint in jail without a complaining witness. Will you come with me at once and ride to the county seat?
The county? Now?
If we started right away, we could be there by noon tomorrow. We'll take Flint with us.
But this is Christmas Eve.
And tomorrow is Christmas.
Christmas means nothing to Eric Flint.
I wouldn't put any man in jail on Christmas Day. Not even Eric Flint.
Thanks for that, Dickerman.
You're thanking me?
Yes, and it's not sarcasm. I mean it.
The Lone Ranger took Flint to another humble home where another man was trying to keep the spirit of Christmas for his children. Like Dickerman, Sam Blake was indebted to the banker.
This might be a chance for you to take advantage of a situation, Blake.
I can't put a man in jail on Christmas Day. I'd hate myself forever if I done a trick like that. Why, it'd be violating all the rules of peace on earth, goodwill toward man. No, sirree, you'll have to get someone else. And that shouldn't be hard. Most half the folks around here owe cash to Banker Flint.
As the evening advanced, the masked man took Flint to other homes. And in every one, the answer was the same.
Jail a man on Christmas Day? Not me.
Flint's manner was changing. After leaving the last house, he said to the Lone Ranger,
I suppose I could get back my money by extending all those mortgages. Do you mean that, Flint?
Well, of course, Christmas doesn't mean a thing to me. And I can't understand it. Every one of those men has cause to hate me. Every one would profit by putting me in jail. But not one of them would do it.
Not on Christmas.
How much longer are you going to drag me around like this, from one house to another?
Maybe we've gone far enough. Let's return to that cabin in the woods.
You'll have to help me mount again. These ropes on my hands make it kind of awkward.
I'll remove the ropes.
When I heard a masked man was looking for me, I thought... Well, no matter what I thought. Why were you looking for me?
I had good news for you, Flint. But when I learned the sort of man you were, I didn't think you were ready to hear that good news.
Good news?
It's about a girl you left in Omaha.
What's that? A girl? Omaha?
Yes. The girl you married.
Abigail. My wife. If you know anything about her, in the name of goodness, tell me. Do you hear me? Tell me what you know of Abigail.
I'll tell you about her while we're riding back to Hammond.
The evening had been a long one, filled with worry for Mrs. Hammond. The hours had dragged since her husband had left the house to call on Eric Flint. It was nearly midnight when she heard footsteps outside. She hurried to the door and opened it.
Dave. Oh, Dave, where have you been?
It's a long story, Mary. When did you hear about Eric Flint?
What did you do to him?
It wasn't me. It was a masked man.
Let me close the door.
No, leave it open. You'll know why in just a minute. Mary, years ago, Eric Flint sent for his wife to come and join him. But he never heard from her. That's what made him so bitter. He wrote a lot of letters, and she never answered.
Oh.
The fact is, his wife replied to the very first letter, but he never got it. You see, there's another town called Osage. She went there, and no one knew about Eric Flint. Her money ran out, and she just stayed there and worked. She's been there ever since.
It's a lie. But, Dave, how do you know all this?
A masked man brought the news, and he brought Flint a whole packet of letters his wife had written, and never mailed because she didn't know where to send them.
That man? Well, how did he know?
He heard about Abigail Flint and how she'd come west looking for her husband. He remembered the name, Abigail Flint. It was on a letter in the mail pouch that had been tossed aside by stage thieves years ago.
Oh, so he set out to find Eric Flint for the woman.
Yes? That's Eric Flint right now.
I've never recognized his voice. He sounds happy.
There he is.
Why, it's a tree.
A Christmas tree, ma'am. Oh, be careful, Butch. Ease it through the doorway. Don't want to break off any of those branches.
Please, son.
Howdy, Mrs. Hammond. This is for your young one.
Good evening, Mr. Flint.
What's keeping Cooper so long?
He's coming. He's loaded down.
Oh, I see him. Hurry up there, Cooper. We've got to get those toys and clothes spread out. Just a couple of minutes to Christmas.
Loaded me down,
Mr. Flint, all these things.
Almost had to pull a gun on Jake to get him to open up his store.
Oh, look, Mary, a knife and shoes, a wooden gun, a woolen shirt.
All these for Doc.
There's lots more in those packages, Mary. And some stuff for you and Dave as well. You two will have to hang the trimmings on the tree and fix the candles. I've got a million things to do. I've got to get a wagon and a strong team and load her down with Christmas presents for my wife.
Dave told me about Eric. Oh, I'm so glad.
You two, Butch and Cooper, what are you standing around for?
We're just getting our breath, boss.
Well, never mind your breath. You've got some other presents to deliver. Now get back to the store and get those things for Dickerman and Blake and all the others.
Yes,
wait a minute. Tell them that I've left town. I'm going to meet my wife. And when I get back, we'll talk about renewing all those mortgages for another year, or 2 years, or for as long as it takes.
We'll tell them, boss.
And tell them all a Merry Christmas. A Merry Christmas from me.
If you don't mind me saying so, boss, those folks will sure wonder what's got into you.
Well, tell them what got into me. Tell them it's the Christmas spirit. Tell them Eric Flint has got the knack of Christmas. And that was Eric Flint's third Christmas tree.
I'll go,
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created and produced by George W. Trendle and directed by Charles D. Livingston. Tonight's drama was written by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.
aware of the plot to overthrow Christmas, which has been going on for some time now. In fact, Norman Corwin wrote a play called The Plot to Overthrow Christmas, which has been broadcast on CBS for 3 years. Tonight, you will hear it again. This presentation is by way of a Christmas gift from CBS to its listeners on the principle that the best presents you can give your friends are the things you want for yourself. We wish you good cheer and ask you to follow the unraveling of The Plot to Overthrow Christmas by Norman Corwin.
Did you hear about the plot to overthrow Christmas? Well, gather ye now from Maine to the Isthmus of Panama and listen to the story of the utter inglory of some gory goings-on in hell. Now, it happened in Hades, ladies and gentlemen. It happened down there that the fiends held a meeting. The fiends held a meeting for the purpose of defeating Christmas. With the aid of a fade on the radio, we'll take you there with a hi and a hey-de-ho to hear firsthand the brewing of the plot down in the deepest Stygian grot.
Grot is a poetical term for grotto. Whenever you hear my voce sotto, or sotto voce, whichever you prefer, it's just I taking pains to make quite sure that nobody makes a poetical allusion which might in any way create confusion. I return you now to the voice you were hearing before I had to do this interfering.
As I was saying, in this Stygian grot, the notables of Limbo hatched a plot. And what went on in the sulphurous hole will soon pick up by remote control. Of course, such a pickup is not made quickly. As a matter of fact, it's done rather trickly. You mustn't mind if it sounds erratic. That's merely intra-terrestrial static. And don't be surprised if you're deafened by thunder just as we start on our journey under. You'll hear earthquakes and all of the commoner varieties of natural phenomena. And so, below, via radio, to the regions where legions of the damned go.
You interrupt me in the middle of a movement of my favorite concerto. You should look to the improvement of your manners.
Sir, if you please, my apologies. I would not have intruded upon your recital if the matter were not so terribly vital.
The most important matter in the world is piddling when it comes to be compared with Nero's fiddling.
Now, what you say may be very true, but I have been sent here to summon you to a great mass meeting of the tortured souls down in the grot of the flaming coal.
A meeting? What for? What's the big idea? Why can't a fellow have some peace down here?
Peace, poor soul, can't be found in the premises. This is a region abounding in nemesis.
Now you're talking like a travel folder. Tell me, varlet, before I smolder, why are we meeting? Who's on the spot?
We're meeting in order to fabricate a plot against the festival that mortal men comfort in and gladden in again and again. You see, every year...
Never mind the facts. I don't want to hear how mortal man acts. The only information about which I care concerns the mass meeting and who'll be there.
His wickedness, Mephisto, will preside.
Naturally. And
several of the Borgias will be sitting at his side. And down in front, by the sizzling sodium, will be many personalities noted for their odium. Haman, Caligula, Medusa, and Legree.
That's all very nice, but what about me?
Oh, you'll be sitting in row A, center, between Ivan the Terrible, the Tormentor, and Cersei.
Mercy. Why, they're both deranged.
Do you wish me to see if your seat can be changed?
Yes, if you will, please. Taste comes first, even though a soul may be eternally cursed.
Righto. See you at the meeting, then?
Yes. And now back to my fiddling again.
This is I, the sotto voce person. It should have been explained that Nero's rehearsing for nothing in particular. He's just that way. While hell's fires burn, he likes to play. Makes it feel a little more at home. It's just an avocation he picked up in Rome.
I've called you here from over 60 seas of boiling pitch and blazing phosphorus to stop what constitutes a loss for us. We've lost prestige, and I greatly deplore that we stand in danger of losing more in the way of confidence and spirit. We're far from our goal. We're nowhere near it. And this is the reason. Though we've done well in carrying forward the work of hell, we've left a very big job unfinished. After all these years, there is undiminished goodwill on earth every late December because of Christmas. Now, please remember that as long as this continues to be, the race of man will not belong to me. I will listen now to any questions you may want to ask, and then suggestions.
Mr. Chairman,
Brother Haman has the floor.
You say we have done well in our effort to sell evil. I say we have done better. We have carried out the letter of your law. We've done what I think is a pretty good job. And I say, as a veteran Damon...
Sit down there, Haman. Enough of this folly.
Sit down yourself. You're off your trolley.
Sit down, for I am Ivan the Terrible.
You're telling us why you are unbearable.
Hello, demons. This is no way to act. Please proceed with a little more tact. I want more decorum in this forum. All personal remarks must cease. Now, Brother Ivan, will you speak your piece?
I merely want to say in a casual way that Haman is a radical. He always gets fanatical. Why anybody think to hear him snort that the work of the Nazis should just stop short? Anybody think to hear him talking that Hitler and Hito should stop stalking the ways of the world?
Mr. Chairman, Brother Ivan is a demagogue with a brain like a fly and the manners of a hog. Why, he says
Now that's enough. We will hear from others. Surely there must be among you brothers enough venom and malevolence to crush a mortal man's benevolence. It's come to this. Are we going to let a little holiday like Christmas get the better of us all down here below?
No.
Very well, then, sirs. Very well. Let's go. Let's lay down our plans now to overthrow this Christmas business and all that guff of holly and mistletoe and stuff. Brother Caligula may take the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I abhor, as a former emperor, anything which curbs our rule. I suggest we start right in manufacturing more sin. Let us give some presents, too. Candy sticks and things to chew, fruits and nuts and little cakes, poisonous as rattlesnakes.
Bravo!
Let our subtlest worker be bichloride of mercury. Let us wrap in tinsel bright little gifts of dynamite.
Oh!
Work things so that men will fear when 12:25 draws near. Soon at this rate, if you please, men will hang from Christmas trees.
My dear Caligula, permit the chair to say that we think you've got something there. And now, with this fine start, let's hear some more. Yes, Brother Nero, do you want the floor?
With all due respect to Caligula's views, I think there's a better method we can use. I've just heard lately men are giving the razz to classical music by making it jazz. They're swinging it Bach and what is keener. They're doing the shag to Palestrina.
Yeah.
As a connoisseur of music, of course I love the works of Rimsky-Korsakov. But today I note with a bitter shrug they've made Scheherazade a jitterbug.
Much as we admire your clever rhyme, will you get to the point? We're wasting time.
I was just about to say, when interrupted, that Christmas can easily be corrupted. If you take and swing all the Christmas carols, I think of the evil. Just barrels and barrels of sacrilege every time you play a pious song in a profane way. Why, once you entice them to swing Noel, then victory belongs to us fiends. Well...
Mr. Legree.
I'd like to say that it seems to me that you all's barking up a coonless tree. I think Mr. Nero's made a wrong guess. The way to go about it is to get in Congress, bribe a bunch of senators who know their oaths, and just make a purchase of a block of votes. And then they can legislate a situation where they rules old Christmas right out of the nation. They can all get together and pass a law where there ain't going to be no Christmas anymore.
I think Legree's suggestion is a beaut.
That's very cute
and quite astute.
To me, it seems a bit impractical, because you have to be so tactical.
Why?
For instance, now, a senator who'd sell, his vote to our lobbyists might very well sell right out again and become a tool of agencies representing the Yule.
By the eternal night. That's right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Miss Borgia.
I say that we should all give pause to think about this Santa Claus. He is the man behind the scenes, the symbol of what Christmas means. If we could rub him out, my friend, our troubles would be at an end. Just think how it would tickle us to liquidate St. Nicholas. A girl like me could fascinate the guy and then assassinate?
Do you think that you could do it, pretty one? Are you sure you wouldn't be by pity one?
Sometimes you are an awful tease, my master Mephistopheles. Ain't I murdered several dozens? Poisoned uncles, aunts, and cousins? Don't my work right here in Hades make me first among the ladies? Men of virtue all have cussed me. I am sure that you can trust me.
Of that we haven't a particle of a doubt, Miss Borgia. And I'm sure we all have nothing but kind feelings towards you. But many times a woman's spy, alas, adores her victims. Dames make poor ambassadors.
Do you imply that such defects are found inherent in my sex?
I do.
Well, listen here, old Ironsides. You're heading for some cyanides. You've crossed a Borgia, and you know the consequences that follow.
Come, disciples. This is very bad. There's nothing to be gained by getting mad. Suppose we put the matter to a vote. First, the plan of Brother Nero's, viz., to swing the hymns and pious music. All those for will please respond by raising up a paw.
For?
And those against?
Against!
Very well. Now, the project of Legree's. Who is there here who totally agrees?
I do.
Legree votes for himself. And those opposed?
Opposed!
And now, all those who favor Borgia's cause, it being to eliminate Santa Claus.
Aye, aye, aye!
And those opposed, seems the women have a way with them. At least they've carried the day with them. The motion's carried. And now we'll decide which one of us will take Nick for a ride. We'll all draw lots and thus settle the moot point of who will be sent to execute.
This is your old friend, Sotto Voce, visiting down where it's eternal noche. Noche is Spanish for night, you know. Merely a reference, just to show that English isn't all I have to go by. Oh, well. I guess I've missed my calling. I should have been a lobbyist. You see, I'm stalling to give them time to finish the voting. Let's see. The weather. Now I'm quoting the Daily Hellion. Continued heat both overhead and under feet. Fresh and moderate gases blowing up to gale force and then going north by westerly. Light showers of brimstone toward the evening hours. That's what it says here. I'm not fibbing. How am I doing with my ad-libbing? This is a thing a gabbard have fun with. Say, the drawing should soon be done with. We expect the results at any moment now. As soon as...
The lots have been drawn, and I'm glad to say the honor has fallen Nero's way. Now, Nero, you are charged with a great task. It's the evilest deed that we could ask a fiend to do. We'll be proud of you.
Now, just one moment. How do I get there? What do I wear? Is it dry or wet there? Is it fact or fancy or just word of mouth that he lives at the pole? Is it north or south? If he dwells in the regions to which I've referred, must I pass through a camp of Admiral Byrd? What shall I use when it comes to the showdown? A gun or a dagger? Well, give me the lowdown.
Now, Nero, you needn't sound so tragic. You'll get to Earth by the blackest magic. To create an express elevator is simple for an expert spell creator. With a lot of pyrotechnic dazzle, we'll let you off on a hill in Basel, Switzerland. From there, you will make your way to the Arctic Circle, then break your way through ice with a blowtorch. After a while, you are bound to reach Santa's domicile. And once you get there, oh, my dear Nero, all of our work will have gone for zero. If you don't succeed in your assignment, a disadvantage of our confinement. In limbo is the fact that we only get one chance in all the eternal roulette of circumstance.
I know. If at first we don't succeed, we can try again. But there is no need, because nothing will come of it. Meaning no offense, do you mind if I take my departure hence?
That, my friends, was a big brass gong. It's used in this story right along to indicate that we're about to travel to points where the plot will further unravel. And now, if Ambassador Nero elects, we'll have another spot of sound effects.
Tell me, stranger. Is this Basel, Switzerland, or is it already Donner and Blitzerland?
Donner und Blitzenlands, 5,000 miles away.
Thank you, mister. Good day. Tell me, stranger, I've been walking inland for weeks. Where am I now?
In Finland.
Tell me, stranger, because I've lost stock, where am I now?
In Vladivostok.
Listen, stranger, after all these centuries of blistering heat, now I have to suffer from freezing feet. I'm wincing with pain from this pesky toe.
No speak English. Eskimo.
I declare by my frenetic soul, I must be over the magnetic pole. My watch has stopped. Can that be right? I wonder... Ah, a light! A light! In a moment now you'll hear me knock on Santa's door, and he'll unlock it, never more to lock again. Coming! So is doom.
How do you do, sir?
Very well indeed. And you, sir?
Splendidly. Won't you come right in? Take your coat off. I see your chin is frozen. Also your hands and knees. Sit down while I get you some antifreeze.
Don't bother, sir. I will not be long. I'm about to perpetrate a fearful wrong. In short, I am going to do away with...
Take it easy. Do not play with that gun. I know all about you.
Really?
Haven't I had my agents scout you for weeks? You've come all this way to abolish Christmas. Now, let me say...
Listen, Santa, I'm no callow stripling. I've read Ernest Hemingway and Kipling and also The Shooting of Dan McGrew. And plenty of detective stories, too. And just to show you what a broad guy I am, I've also read The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Do you think that a fellow with his reading so graded could have learned so little as to be dissuaded from a main objective? Why, don't make me giggle.
I'd feel a lot better if you wouldn't wiggle that gun so. Much as I'm impressed with your education, I honestly believe that a figure of your station should have given more thought to the ways of man and less devotion to the cult of Pan.
By others, no doubt your wisdom may be prized, but I didn't come here to be criticized. In fact, I came to dispatch a duty. So don't hand me any of this tutti-frutti. If you've any last words you want to say, then spill them. I haven't got all day.
Now, what's the rush? Unless I've counted wrong, the polar day has always been 6 months long.
Well, after I've disposed of you, I've got to hurry. Right back to hell, they'll begin to worry.
Not about you, but about your career in homicide. Do you think that the mere loss of you would make them hysterical? Their only interest is numerical.
Think so?
Mephisto wants to rule just as much of humanity as possible for reasons of personal vanity.
By the sticks, you're right. To think that he'd dare. Are there any ladies here? Will you permit me to swear?
My answer to that is an emphatic no. There are several lady dolls in the toy room below.
Oh, Claudius. Oh, Cassius. Oh, Naphthaline, what a fool I've been. What a fool I've been. Yeah, but wait. I think I see what you're after. You're as clever as a big-time Roman grafter. You remind me now of my royalty, just to get me in the mood for disloyalty. Do you think I could be that meanly deceptive to Satan? Why, Santa, I'm keenly perceptive. I can see right through all your clever ruses. Nero can be plenty foxy when he chooses. I'll have you know that I'm partly a dreamer, partly a wit, and partly a schemer. I'm part philosophical and also part mystic.
I suppose you fancy that you're highly artistic.
Fancy? Why, I have such a sense of beauty.
Don't hand me a helping of tutti frutti. Any creature who really had beauty in his soul would appreciate Christmas. He would know that the whole idea of the holiday was one of such power that all the fiends below might gnash their fangs and glower, yet never in a million years could do it harm. Because it has a glory, a greatness, a charm you know nothing about.
That's so?
The spirit that it venerates, the good cheer that it generates, are things far, far beyond you. For all your wealth, no man on earth could sell ye these.
Am I so cursed as that? Will you tell me, please, what beauties there may be that I've never seen?
Have Have you ever seen a Christmas tree, tall and green, smelling of woodlands, covered with a sheen of silveriness, its branches bending low, with the fruits of human kindness instead of snow?
No.
Have you ever closely witnessed what takes place any Christmas morning on a young child's face? Or perceived any beauties purer than the joys distilled in the hearts of little girls and boys? Have you ever watched a fire in a fireplace on a Christmas Eve? Or listened to a grace at a table heavy with fruits and cakes and all the wonders that a kitchen makes, fowls and pastries, wines and meats, and nuts and raisins and candied sweets? Have you ever seen mistletoe hanging from a ceiling? In frosty air, heard a far bell pealing? Have you ever come back from a sleigh ride, tingling, and your feet keeping time with the sleigh bells jingling? Have you ever seen the beauty of a sprig of holly? Or felt for a moment how it feels to be jolly? Golly. Have you ever known how exceedingly pleasant it is to unwrap a Christmas present? Did you ever know how much cheer it lends to be wished a Merry Christmas by all your friends? Did you ever experience the fun of giving? Do you know at all the joys of living?
I guess I don't. For all of me, I never knew such things could be. Just think how long in ignorance I've slept.
It must have been the company you kept.
I was a wicked tyrant once, you know.
Oh, yes, but that was centuries ago. You really had no way of knowing.
Perhaps. I guess that I'll be going. I really should be getting on my way.
But do you have to? Don't you want to stay?
You see, I'm just a bit,
Embarrassed?
Why, yes.
Now, don't look so harassed. I know just why you came and who it was that sent you. But that's all done with. I take it you repent you of all your past mistakes?
With many pains and aches of conscience.
We interrupt this broadcast for a special bulletin. The Algiers radio, recorded by the CBS shortwave listening station, has just reported that Admiral Jean Darlan has been assassinated. Said the Algiers announcer, complete order reigns in Algiers. Further details at 8:55 tonight. We return you now to the program, The Plot to Overthrow Christmas.
Here. And tell me, will you have some wine or beer? I never touched the stuff myself, but I managed to keep on hand a little rye for purposes medicinal. I mean, your chin should be unfrozen. What a state it's in.
A while ago, you asked me if I understood good cheer. I do so now, St. Nicholas. I see it standing here. I want to ask you something, sir. Now, please don't give a yelp. Is there any sort of work to do where I can be of help?
Indeed there is. Indeed there is. And I'm glad you asked me. I have so many toys to make. This year the job's got past me. But first, you sit and eat this bowl. I've got a little trifle I'd like for you to see. So will you sit right here and stifle your curiosity? I'll get it for you right away. It's down the hall, please.
Who'd ever think it? Will wonders never cease? At last, after all these centuries, I'm so happy I could buzz. It shows you what a lot a little Christmas spirit does. As emperor, I envied oft the cheerfulness of peasants, and now I...
Well, here it is, Nero, my boy. By way of Christmas presents, I offer you this little gift.
But, Santa, for what reason?
A very good one, sir. To wit, compliments of the season. Well, go ahead and open it. Why stand there so, reflecting?
I'm just collecting thoughts, St. Nick. My thoughts I'm just collecting. Just think how far a tiny bit of fellowship will carry us. Oh, well. I say, what's this? What's this? It is the Stradivarius. Oh, thank you. Thanks a million times. I don't know what to say to you. I'll tell you what I'll do, St. Nick. I'll start right in and play for you. I'll play all night and day for you.
Fine. Here's some music. I'm sure you'll play it well. It's a little piece entitled Noel, Noel.
This is I. Remember me, your sotto voce friend? I'll just come back to tell you that the story's at an end.
Once again, the plot to overthrow Christmas has been foiled. 1 year ago today, none of us knew whether on December 24th, 1942, we could do such a broadcast as the Norman Corwin holiday play you have just heard. However, we could and we did. And we rather think that the plot to overthrow Christmas will be thwarted again in 1943.
Of Clippercraft clothes for men and 924 leading retail stores from coast to coast present the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Our stories are based upon the character of Sherlock Holmes, created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock Holmes is portrayed by John Stanley, Dr. Watson by Alfred Shirley, and the dramatizations are by Edith Meiser. Well, here we are about to enter Dr. Watson's familiar study. Hello, what's this? We find the good doctor hanging up his Christmas holly.
Not forgetting a sprig of mistletoe, Mr. Harris. Hope springs eternal, as they say. But here, help me down from this chair. My old legs aren't as agile as they were in the days when I followed Holmes through the dungeons and up the tower stairs of old Pendragon Castle.
Here we are.
Oh, thanks.
That sounds suspiciously like the beginning of a Sherlock Holmes yarn, Dr. Watson.
It is, Mr. Harris, it is. Holmes always called it the adventure of the Christmas bride. It concerns a ghostly lady in white who was supposed to have disappeared centuries ago. The honor of a noble family and a certain Father Christmas who suddenly sang bass. And now, while I fix us both a Yuletide toddy, suppose you'll tell our friends and listeners about a gift every man in our audience would welcome from Father Christmas, or as you Americans call him, Santa Claus.
With pleasure, Dr. Watson. And not only from Santa Claus. A thrifty man can give himself a worthwhile gift anytime if he insists on Clippercraft. For Clippercraft clothes keep on giving for a long, long time. First of all, you've never seen such truly fine clothes at such really low prices. That means you pocket the savings. That's the first gift to yourself. And they also give you superb styling, perfect fit, and long wear. Clippercraft clothes give you so very much because of the unique Clippercraft plan, concentrating the buying power of 924 of the nation's leading stores from coast to coast. That means tremendous savings in manufacturing and distribution costs. And yours are the savings this brilliant plan makes possible. Clippercraft suits are only $40 and $45. Clippercraft top coats and overcoats only $40, and sport jackets only $26.50. Clippercraft values are so amazing, we urge you to compare them with clothes selling for many dollars more. And now, how about that Christmas bride, Dr. Watson?
Her name was Ginevra, and she was the heir and only child of Lord Robert Neville, 10th Earl and 54th Baron Pendragon of Pendragon Castle. Yes, I shall never forget my first glimpse of that ancient and somewhat forbidding edifice. The walls grey and bleak, without their summer covering of ivy. The towers square and defiant, with the red or rouge dragon pennant angrily defying the winter gales. Well, as I was saying, a rather urgent message from Lord Neville on elegant embossed stationery had arrived at 221B Baker Street. Would Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson do him the honor of a visit to Pendragon over the Christmas holidays? The visit to include the wedding of his daughter, Lady Ginevra, to the immensely wealthy but slightly middle-aged Wentworth Trimmingham, which was due to occur on the second day of the new year.
Now, don't tell me the eminent Mr. Sherlock Holmes was called in to guard the wedding presents, Dr. Watson.
Hardly, Mr. Harris. At any rate, the day before Christmas found us alighting from our train at a small station in the Cumberland Hills, which, as you know, are situated in the north of England. There had been a slight fall of snow. An ancient carriage with red wheels and the Neville arms on the door was drawn up to the station platform, while the anxious face of the lord of the manor himself, in top hat and earmuffs, peered through one of the steamy windows.
Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
That's right.
This way, gentlemen. His lordship's expecting you in carriage.
Quite a fall of snow you've had here.
Aye, sir. More are coming. By rights, we should have brought the sleigh. Only his lordship loaned it to the vicar for tomorrow night. Vicar always plays Bard of Christmas at the Hall on Christmas Eve, man knows. Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, sir.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Hop in before you freeze to death.
Thank you.
Are you here, Mr. Holmes? Your friend opposite. And now then, Dennis, back to Pendragon as fast as you can.
Aye, my lord.
Mr. Holmes, you are doubtless curious as to why I've invited you and Dr. Watson to share our Yuletide celebrations at Pendragon.
To be quite honest, Lord Neville, I didn't think it was entirely for the pleasure of our society, although Watson is quite an asset when it comes to carol singing.
Oh? Tenor?
Well, certainly not. Baritone.
Oh, that's good. The vicar who leads the Christmas singing is rather proud of his tenor voice, and I may say he's not too fond of competition.
No.
Mr. Holmes, I have invited you to Pendragon to make sure that nothing occurs to prevent the marriage of my daughter to Mr. Wentworth Trimmingham.
Why is that marriage so imperative, Lord Neville?
To be brutally frank, Mr. Holmes, the Neville estates are mortgaged up to the ears. If the marriage does not go through on the 2nd of next month, I shall be bankrupt. Totally bankrupt.
I see. Has anything occurred, Lord Neville, to make you fear that this marriage may not take place?
Well, no. That is nothing definite.
Perhaps the Lady Ginevra hasn't been able to hide her distaste for the match.
Oh, no. Nothing like that. Well, I wouldn't say it was a passionate attachment on either side. But they like the same things. She laughs at all his jokes.
What better foundation could one ask for a marriage, Watson?
Well, that's what I should have said. Well, everything was as smooth as silk until the Dowager Duchess of Terce gave the engagement dinner last month. It was at her suggestion that I sent you the invitation to Pendragon. She's been decidedly edgy ever since Percy returned in the midst of the betrothal dinner 2 weeks ago.
Percy?
Yes, Percy is my cousin, although he's only 7 years older than Ginevra. He's our next of kin.
See.
As a matter of fact, he's an orphan and lived with us at Pendragon until he went off to Canada to seek his fortune 2 years ago.
If anything should happen to your daughter before she produced an heir, would Percy Neville inherit?
Yes, Dr. Watson. Both the title and the estates.
Percy Neville's return was unexpected, I gather.
It was. Unexpected and melodramatic, to say the least. The betrothal dinner was being held in the great hall of Pendragon Castle. My daughter had just risen to return the bridegroom's toast. As she lifted her glass, a casement window was thrown violently open, and Percy walked in out of the night.
And now I should like to make a toast to my future bridegroom. Percy!
Good heavens, Percy, is it really you?
I'm sorry to make such an abrupt entrance, Lady Terce, but I came as soon as I received news of the engagement.
Percy, why didn't you let us know you were coming?
Let you know. Let you know when you never bothered to answer my letters.
But, Percy, we never received any letters. We thought you'd forgotten us.
I had forgotten. As if that would have mattered.
Percy, that's not true. You know how fond we are of you.
How touching.
Percy, this is Wentworth. Wentworth Trimmingham, my future bridegroom.
So, this is the little man they've sold you to.
Stop that. Stop it at once. I'm very fond of Wentworth.
Are you, my dear Ginevra?
Percy, why do you look at me like that?
To think you should so soon forget our family motto. Ne vile velis. The name Neville means that, you know. Ne vile velis.
Ne vile velis. Latin, I take it, Holmes?
Quite. It means stoop to nothing base, in case you've forgotten your Ovid, Watson.
Oh, teach your grandmother to suck eggs.
Tell me, Lord Neville, what happened after Percy quoted the family motto to your daughter?
He stamped off to his old rooms in the tower and hasn't been out of them since.
How does the Lady Ginevra react to this unfriendly behavior?
Oh, she says let him sulk. It's no concern of hers. Lady Terce, on the other hand, is thoroughly unnerved by Percy's return.
Oh?
As she feels sure he'll do something outrageous the day of the wedding. Poor Wentworth is as edgy as a hen on a hot griddle. Well, of course, that may be due to his encounter with the White Lady.
White Lady? Who's she?
The ghost of the first Ginevra, you know, the bride who played hide-and-seek on her wedding night and was never seen alive again. Years later, her skeleton was found in her great dower chest, still dressed in her wedding gown. She'd hidden in there, and somehow the hasp must have fallen down, and she was locked in and smothered to death.
Seems to me I remember a rather famous poem on the subject.
Oh, yes. So all the Ginevras in the Neville family have been named after her. She's supposed to walk through the halls of the castle whenever a misfortune is due to occur.
Oh, cheerful damsel, Holmes?
When and how did Wentworth Trimmingham meet the lady?
Well, Mr. Holmes, it seems it's his habit to knock on my daughter's door on his way to bed to wish her good night. Last night, the wind was rather high and he couldn't seem to make my daughter hear. Suddenly, he heard a strange creaking noise down the corridor behind him. Looking round, he saw the lid of the dower chest rise slowly.
Ginevra, my dear, it's I, Wentworth. I've come to bid you good night. Ginevra, are you there? Ginevra!
Who calls me?
What was that? Good Lord, the lid of the chest is rising. There's something... A woman in white. She's rising out of the chest. Who are you?
The first Ginevra. You call to me. So I have come to warn you. Go away. Go away before it is too late.
Then what happened, Lord Neville?
Nothing, Mr. Holmes. Apparently, the white figure glided past my daughter's fiancé and disappeared up the tower stairs.
What did the lady look like? Blonde, brunette?
Wentworth says her features were hidden by the bridal veil.
Yes. Interesting. I suppose anyone in the house would have access to that tower chest.
On the contrary, Mr. Holmes, too many people are possessed of insatiable curiosity. I keep the silly thing safely padlocked, I promise you.
How many keys are there to that padlock?
One, which I keep by me, here, on my keyring.
A very wise precaution.
I say, Holmes, your bed is even larger than the one in my room. The butler tells me Queen Victoria slept there when she paid a visit in 1846.
Don't look so superior, Watson. Queen Elizabeth, I'm told, slept here quite a few years before that.
Oh.
Come in.
Oh, Lady Terce, beautiful and charming as ever.
Stop the nonsense. Glad to see you, both of you. Something's going on here. Don't like it.
What sort of something are you referring to, Lady Terce?
Don't know. If I did, shouldn't have sent for you. Ginevra looks as if butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. Bad sign. Percy looks like a thundercloud. That's worse.
I thought Percy had locked himself in his rooms and refused to see anyone.
I'd like to see anyone refuse to see me. Oh, but I'm Gavin. You'll want to view the premises.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to inspect that dower chest. It might be interesting to investigate how a lady in white can emerge from a carefully padlocked coffer.
Then you don't think it was a ghost. Neither do I. Well, what was she up to?
We shall be able to answer those questions better, Lady Terce, after you've had a look inside that box. I wonder if you could persuade Lord Neville to lend us the key.
Here's the key, Mr. Holmes. Lord Neville insists I bring it back the moment you've finished with it.
Suspicious old boy, eh, Holmes?
Not suspicious, Dr. Watson. Fussy. Well, Mr. Holmes, why the delay? Open the silly chest. Let's see what's inside.
So fast, Lady Terce, not so fast. First, let's have a look at the lock.
Heavy old bit of machinery.
Yes, almost impossible to pick it without showing signs. There are no signs.
Then whoever opened it used that key.
Not necessarily, Watson.
But there's only one key. Lord Neville told us so.
And if Robert says a thing, it's gospel.
Yes. Interesting carving around the lock. The wood's very old.
Naturally. Open it up. I'm dying of curiosity.
Very well. The lock needs oiling. Hasn't been unlocked for some time. I'll remove the padlock. Here, Watson, hold it. Now, Lady Terse, if you'll help me raise the lid.
Right.
Good Lord, what's that?
Oh, it's Thor, Ginevra's spaniel. Goes everywhere with her. Regular shadow. Oh, yes, here she comes.
Hello there. I'm Ginevra. Why, you must be Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Delighted.
Don't let me stop you, Mr. Holmes.
You won't.
Father told me what you're up to. I'm dying to see what's in the chest, too. Go ahead, open it up. Down, sword, down, boy.
You see, it's a biggish box, isn't it?
Yes, a woman could easily hide in there.
Something white and satin lying on the bottom.
Wonderful. It must be her wedding dress. I've always heard it was still in there. Remarkable to find it in such good condition after all these years.
The remarkable thing about it, Lady Ginevra, is this dust and dirt on the hem. Watson, give me an envelope. I shall want to take a sample.
But that's fascinating. I've heard simply fabulous things about you, Mr. Holmes, and now I believe them. Every one.
Do you? Yes, I think we've seen everything there is to be seen here. Watson, you may close the lid and lock it.
Right.
Uh-huh. So this is Mr. Sherlock Holmes and his famous deductions. They told me you were coming.
They? Who's they? I understood you'd let no one in here, not even the maid.
You've overlooked Lady Terse. Try to keep her out of anything.
I didn't mention Mr. Holmes, Percy. Or did I?
Don't look so suspicious, Lady Terse. I've decided to be a good boy. I've even decided to come downstairs tonight and join in the Christmas Eve festivities.
Percy, that gleam in your eye. I've known you too long. You're up to something.
If you want to know what satisfying people really means, ask any man who wears Clippercraft clothes. He'll sing their praises, with good reason, too. For values like Clippercraft amaze even clothing experts. Until you see Clippercraft clothes and try them on, you won't believe such really superb suits are possible at only $40 and $45. And such rich, long-wearing top coats and overcoats at only $40. Such very smart sport jackets at only $26.50. For just a fraction of what you'd expect to pay, you get correct styling, perfect fit, and long-wearing materials. An ingenious plan makes this all possible. The Clippercraft plan, which concentrates the buying power of 924 of the nation's leading stores from coast to coast. You get the savings that result from this group buying at your own local independent store, the store you can trust. Selling inexpensive clothes at inexpensive low prices at the nation's finest independent stores is the great big idea behind the Clippercraft plan. That's why men who know insist on Clippercraft clothes. So be sure to visit the Clippercraft store in your city.
These leading stores in the metropolitan area are proud to add their names to Clippercraft in your suit, top coat, and overcoat. In Manhattan, John Wanamaker Men's Stores, Broadway at 8th and 67 Liberty Street. Saks 34th, Broadway at 34th. In Brooklyn, Abraham and Strauss. In Newark, New Jersey, Boulevard Men's Shop, Kresge Newark. And in Jamaica, the B&B Clothes Shop, 16408 Jamaica Avenue.
The vicar's late. Down, Thor.
Oh, calm yourself, Ginevra. He'll be here.
But Percy, the snow's so deep. What if he can't get through?
Now, don't worry. The sleigh is light, and he has Vixen, the best horse in the county. Nothing can pass her, you know.
Oh, dear, I hope so. No, Thor, down. What ails the dog?
He may prove to be a bit of a problem, don't you think?
Goodness, I hope so. Oh, Mr. Holmes, I didn't see you behind that chair.
An ancient wing chair often provides a good listening post, my dear.
Now, look here, you meddling busybody.
Percy, please, you promised.
Suppose you allow me to solve the problem of the dog, Lady Ginevra.
Would you? I mean, listen, sleigh bells. The vicar's driving up.
He's here. Father Christmas has arrived. Open the door, Paddleford. Now then, everyone.
Good King Wenceslas has looked down on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about.
I have been so cold. My right ear's half frozen.
Come along, have a hot toddy while you get out of your wrap.
It's a good idea. Good idea.
And better disguise your voice, sir, or all the children will guess who you are.
That's a good idea, too. Gather round all. Bring in the Yule log. Father Christmas will be with you in a moment to give out the presents to all the good boys and girls. There. How is that?
Vicar, you're wonderful. Now go along. Take good care of him, Percy.
Never fear, my dear.
Mr. Holmes, they're bringing in the Yule log. Come and help me set fire to it. Oh, look, Dr. Watson has caught Lady Curse under the mistletoe.
I declare I've never had such a Christmas. Come along, Ginevra. They're ready for you to light the fire.
Dear, where did I put the matches?
Allow me, Lady Ginevra.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Watson.
Oh, look at that. I say, Holmes, how she burns, eh?
Oh, lovely. I do like to toast my feet in front of a Yule log.
I beg your pardon, Lady Ginevra. Haven't you raised your skirts a bit too high?
Oh, my goodness. I forgot.
Ginevra, my dear, your fiancé is making quite an ass of himself. Runs into the library every other minute to see no one's lifted one of the wedding presents.
Well, all that silver and your present, Lady Terce, the diamond tiara.
I'll admit that tiara is a temptation. You shouldn't have given it to me, Lady Terce. It's wonderful.
Oh, not at all. A confounded nuisance. Given me a headache for years. Glad to be rid of it.
Oh, here comes Father Christmas. Gather around the punch bowl, everyone, and we'll have a drink or so before we give out the presents.
We should. That's the ticket. I say there, Vicar. Father Christmas, I mean. Start us off on a carol. Can't drink your eggnog without a song.
Right you are, fair lady. God rest you, merry gentlemen. Let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day.
Jolly, eh, Holmes? Nothing like a good old-fashioned English Christmas. Straight out of Dickens, don't you know?
Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and
Hello there, Father Christmas. Not leaving us so soon.
Well, that is a long ride home. Must get going. Don't tell the others. Wouldn't want to disturb the party.
Quite. How about a hot toddy before you leave? Stirrup cup, you know.
No, haven't time.
I thought you might say that, so I prepared this jug full of grog. Keep it well wrapped. It'll keep you warm. It's a long, cold drive to Gretna Green, but... What, Mr. Holmes? No time to waste. On your way, Father Christmas. Think of me when you drink the grog.
We will. Wassail!
Wassail. Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year.
Hello, what's this? Vicar off so soon?
Yes, Lord Neville. He seemed in a hurry to get home.
Oh, can't blame him. It's a cold night. Let us get inside before we freeze to death.
Good idea.
Oh, I say they're ready to start the dancing. Wentworth's trying to find Ginevra so they can lead the lancers.
Help! Help!
Who's that calling?
Good heavens, what's that?
Get me out! I'm locked in.
Someone's got himself locked in the dungeon. This way. The entrance is through the dining room.
I was hoping for more of a head start.
What's that?
Nothing at all.
Ah, this is the door to the dungeon.
Let me out! Let me out, I say!
Yeah, the door is bolted. Just a moment.
Get me out of here!
Good Lord. It's the vicar down there in his underwear and trussed up like a New Year's goose.
This is an outrage! Get me out of here!
But if the vicar is here, who drove off in the sleigh?
Presumably an impostor who stole the vicar's clothes. I thought it might be, you know, when I heard Father Christmas sing bass.
Say, Holmes. Holmes, where are you? Lady Ginevra, her fiancé can't find her anywhere. She's disappeared, vanished into thin air.
Great Scott. Someone get the vicar out of the dungeon. I've got to find my daughter.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, come quickly. Ginevra's disappeared. Her dog is crouched in front of the dower chest, howling.
Oh, hurry, gentlemen. The same scoundrel that locked the vicar in the dungeon has undoubtedly put Ginevra in the dower chest.
I only hope we're not too late, eh, Holmes?
Wentworth tried to break the chest open, but the dog won't let him near. There, you see?
Easy, thoughtful boy. Yes, I know what you're trying to say. We'll get her out. Oh, confound it, the key. Lady Terce, what did you do with the key?
But I gave it back to you.
No, you didn't.
Oh, yes, you did, too.
Quite all right, you know. No key needed. The wood's so old and the staple's so loose, it's quite possible to lift the lock right out, like this. That's it. I'll raise the lid.
Great God, there's nothing in there but a roast of beef.
Yes. Thor's made off with it, I'm afraid. That explains his interest in the chest.
But if Ginevra isn't here, where is she?
With Father Christmas, I imagine. They're heading for the Scottish border in the sleigh. You'll never catch them, I'm afraid.
Of course, she's eloped with Percy. So she did talk him round. Good for her. So that's why she trailed off up the tower steps in that old bridal gown.
I suspected as much when I discovered some of Percy's ashes on its hem.
But this is dreadful. I should be ruined. We'll have to return all the wedding presents.
Fiddle-dee-dee. Personally, I'll make mine a much handsomer contribution. Ginevra shall have the tiara and my emeralds as well. They're worth a king's ransom.
Lady Terce, you are an astounding female.
All women are. Oh, but we're keeping the dancers waiting. You shall lead the lancers with me, Robert. Come along.
Say, Holmes, you old fraud. I believe you knew what was going on all the time.
I suspected, Watson. I suspected. But when I saw the Lady Ginevra raise her ball gown and display a pair of traveling boots, I was sure. But come along, Watson. We shall have to go down to the kitchen and make peace with the cook.
Oh, why that?
For making off with Sunday's roast of beef. Something had to be done to keep the dog interested, or he'd have given the show away.
Well, that certainly was a Christmas story with all the trimmings, Dr. Watson.
Glad you liked it, Mr. Harris. And now, while I fill up our glasses, so we can drink a Christmas toast to our listeners and our sponsors.
Nothing would give me greater pleasure, Dr. Watson.
Here's your glass, Mr. Harris.
Thank you.
And here's to our radio friends, young and old. Merry, Merry Christmas and happiness, prosperity and peace in the new year.
Indeed, Dr. Watson, and warm greetings to all the makers of Clippercraft clothes. And now, Dr. Watson, how about just a small hint about next week's story?
Next week, I think I should tell you how Holmes and I spent New Year's Eve off the Scilly Isles.
New Year's Eve off the Scilly Isles? That sounds amusing, Doctor.
Hair-raising is the word, Mr. Harris. We were aboard the luxury liner Gigantic, expecting that any minute she would burst into flames. There's nothing more terrifying, we know, than a fire at sea.
The makers of Clippercraft clothes and 924 leading stores from coast to coast have brought you another in the new series of broadcasts featuring the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes is produced and directed by Basil Lochran with special music by Albert Berman. If you don't know your Clippercraft dealer, write Clippercraft, 200 Fifth Avenue, New York City. Christmas seals support the fight to prevent the spread of tuberculosis in this community. Buy and use Christmas seals on all your holiday mail, and be sure to mail your packages now. Be sure to listen next week to Sherlock Holmes in New Year's Eve off the Scilly Isles. If you'd like to attend the Sherlock Holmes broadcast in New York, see your local Clippercraft dealer, and he'll tell you how to obtain your tickets. Speaking for Clippercraft clothes, this is the world's largest network, serving more than 450 radio stations and mutual broadcasting systems.